There we go. All right. We are starting off the first game of the session for the campaign, which is Blackstar over Deadwood. And for anybody that's watching this video, this is Deadlands Reloaded. We're playing it the deluxe version because, I mean, Suede is cool and everything, but there's things that are kind of like a little bit not baffling, but just a little bit unusual. So I'm going to hold off until next year whenever they come out with Deadlands 2. And plus, this is what I'm used to. So, one thing before I hand out bennies and we get on with the game. As far as if I throw you guys a benny, and if you notice on the screen, you've got what the bennies look like right here. That Benny right there, that's the representation. That's a legendary Benny. If you get one of those in your thing, throw it out, and I'll give you another one because those are for only what they're used for. They're not used at the beginning of a game. They're used whenever you guys do something super heroic and you lower the fear level and that whole 9 yards. Also, in this campaign, we are not using guts. We're using spirit rolls instead of guts, and that came about. That was a change that they made just a little bit after they got deluxe on board, because it used to be that you used guts rolls, and that's what it was put into the original Reloaded Marshal's Guide. And I think in this version of the player's handbook they still have guts, but anything that would say guts, we're just going to do spirit rolls. You guys know how the bennies work: red, white, and blue.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you do a quick review for me?
Yeah, you might want to give me that again.
But I was just wondering, like, those of us who took guts because like Deadlands Reloaded uses guts as a setting rule. So those of us who took guts, as I'm putting up my hand, what should I do with the points that I put into guts?
What did you put guts into for what?
Pardon me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear you cut out.
Yeah, you're cutting out just a little bit sometimes.
No, I'm saying for anything that would have been a guts roll, we're not using guts at all. We're using spirit.
Yeah, I know, but when I made my character, I put 2 points into guts. So I've got a D6 in guts, which we're not using anymore. So do you want me to redistribute those points among my skills?
I probably want to say it's a yes, but
Yeah, well, guts is supposed to be part of your attributes. It's not part of your skills, so.
Well, guts is a skill in Deadlands Reloaded.
it does say it's a skill.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying when Deluxe came out, they errated that and they said that they're not using guts anymore for anything.
So then just redistribute it then.
Just
That's all
redistribute
good.
it to the rest of your attributes.
Sounds good.
Okay. Also, in this deck right here, instead of having 54 cards, it has 55 because there are 3 different jokers. There is a red joker, there is a black joker, and there is a death's head joker. The red and the black, they give you +2 to your rolls, and they allow you to, jump ahead as normal. The death's head joker gives you +4 to your rolls. It allows you to jump ahead in the order, and you get to give one of your posse members a +2 on the after, like, once this situation. Let's say you go through a fight and you've pulled that joker, you've used it for all that situation. When you come into your next melee or situation that causes you to do initiative, you can give somebody the benefit of having one of the other jokers. So basically, on the next time around, they get a +2 to rolls and such. And also, for that time, it also takes away a Benny from me. All right. All right, we are going to... Before I do the bennies, does anybody have luck?
I have the bad dreams, so I get 1 less Benny. Just throwing that out there.
Okay, hold on. Let me
or fake chip, as I like to call it.
Yeah, fake chips. Okay, so who is it that gets the one
One
less?
less.
Is that
That would be Alex Crawford.
okay? Hold on. Let me get this here. And while I'm doing this, for the benefit of those who'll be watching this on YouTube, why don't you guys go down the line and tell us the name of your character and what you guys are playing as?
All right, I'm playing John Doe, a young 20-year-old man who's essentially he's kind of lost his way a bit in life, and now he's a gun for hire.
Okay.
I'm playing Alex Crawford, a Civil War veteran, a bit of a sniper, kind of drift in the West. Been there for a while. He just kind of does odd jobs when whatever to get by.
All right.
My name is FireD37. Not my birth name. That would be David. I'm playing Christoph Jacobson, who is a Mormon missionary looking to get out into the world and spread the good word.
Okay.
Right, I'm Tommy, and I'm playing Fiona Green, a British, well, you might call her a prostitute, but she's a little bit more than that, and she's got her own Johns.
Today I'm playing Xiao Yu, an immigrant from China. He's an artist, and he's in the Weird West to stop what he believes is a prophetic vision.
Okay.
My name is Catlin. I'm playing Charles Argwal III. Comes from a British family living in the southern United States. From back east, has no idea what the West is like, but he decides that he's going to move out there all willy nilly and try and sell some things together.
Sorry.
All right. And one more. We've got Charles Argall II.
I just did my introduction.
Yeah, he just did it.
Okay. All right. You guys are all introduced. All right. Give me just a second. I'm giving you guys your deals here. And go ahead and give them a check and make sure you don't have any legendaries. And if you got one, I'll give you a replacement.
What's the legendary one look like?
They look like the representations on the screen. They're very fancy. Gold border.
Oh, okay. No, I don't got any of those. I'm good.
Big slit.
Okay, we got one more. All right. One more. And if things go a little bit slow, it's because it's Saturday night and Roll20 can suck sometimes whenever it's overloaded with people. Come on. There's an example. It's freezing up when I'm trying to deal out bennies.
So with the bennies, real quick, just because I haven't seen this, is everything in the window what I have on me?
Everything that's you have 3 bennies and whatever you see is what you got. It could be a red and a blue and whatever.
So, yep, I have one of the legendary ones. So drag it out.
Yeah, just go ahead and drag it out, and I'll give you another one. Okay, hold on. Come on. Roll 20, don't be a pain in my butt.
In case anyone wants Charles, the exact same hair. Fee.
It's the last
Oh
one, and it
shit!
won't
You
let
got
me.
your video working
Yeah.
somehow.
Good
All right,
deal.
let me see if
I'm
I
gonna
can
try
get
to get mine
mine.
here in a minute.
First one in the pool.
All right, let me see if I can reload.
Get it? Because it's Deadlands
All right.
Reloaded.
Yeah.
No, not
Now, who
okay.
was it that got the?
That's a terrible.
Who was it that got the legendary?
Shall we?
Oh, it was you, Anthony.
Anthony.
Okay, hold on, just a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, shuffle.
Why the fuck is it not working? Is it not plugged in?
Yeah, I got an upset kitty. Maybe next time I'll make sure she's not in here.
Do you have your broadcast like in the game settings? Do you have
Yeah, it says I want to broadcast video only because I don't want to broadcast both video and voice. And video endpoint sources.
Yeah, I'm gonna get mine going here in just a bit.
I was gonna say too, like, is it possible the permission is turned off for Roll20?
I checked that. I made sure.
Come on.
Let me
Did you hit the refresh button?
There's so many problems that could be gone wrong with this.
That's it. Game's over. Everyone's on fire.
Okay, was it Anthony who needed the new Benny?
Yes.
Okay, gets one. Ba-bam. All right. Yeah, Roll20's already being glitchy because it's Saturday.
I'm going to copy and paste what the face. So if anyone wants to put that in their note, in their character sheet, you have that.
Come on. Now let's try it. There you go. You should have a new replacement. Alrighty then. Let's see if we can get this thing to work. Yep. Huh. I wonder why it's not doing that. Well, I don't know. For some reason, it's not allowing me to put mine on there. So, and I'm looking at all the permissions. I'm going to have to mess around with that. Then I need to give me some bennies. Oh well. I will have it ready by the next time because... Come on. Nothing ever goes smoothly with Roll20.
No, every time that I run my game, like I have it set for 45 typically, but I don't get started until like 10 because of Roll20.
Well, I mean, there's been times where I played earlier in the day or in off days when it's not very busy, and everything works, period. And there's no problem. But on Fridays and Saturdays, it decides to be a pain in the ass because their servers are overjoyed or overjumped or whatever. Alrighty, almost. Let's see if it'll do what it's supposed to. There we go. Okay, cool. I can handle that. All right. So, for anybody that'll be watching this on YouTube, the people have made their introductions as we go. For people that have played the game, you'll get everything right off the bat. And if you hear us having to explain mechanics and stuff like that, keep an ear on it because then that way you can figure out by watching whether or not you want to play. And I highly recommend that you get a chance to play it and not just play Deadland, play any of the Savage settings because, you know, depending on what you like, there's definitely some good stuff out there to play from this to Rippers to Hellfrost, you name it. So we got you covered there. All right. Everybody's got their characters.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah, not sponsored. And if you want to see a better representation of this game than what I can run, I definitely tell you to go look at Deadwood by Critical Role. They nailed it. The ending, that ending pissed me off, but it was still very cinematic, so I can't fault them for the way they did it, but I liked it. All right.
They had to refilm the ending because they had technical difficulties a lot. That's why it wasn't as great.
It was that well the way it was. I just think the two things that really kind of pissed me off is whenever uh the not Arabella but the other one that was I can't think of her name, Conley or whatever, the woman that was sitting down at the end of the table, whenever she asked to help Matt Mercer, uh dude said no. And there was a reason why he told her no, because that ending was going to happen between Matt and dude. But the only thing is though, I think the other end of it also is like, what if Matt would have been successful in killing him? Now, the one thing that if you listen to the ending, the very ending, they got the end screen off, they've showed all their credits, and then there's them talking, and it's just voice stuff. They're going, oh, that was so Western, and all this and that. And there was something that they said in there that makes me think that there's a possibility of them maybe doing a second season, because they said that the black guy that was playing the one that basically ended up killing him said that I'm going to be like this for the next 6 days. So there's a possibility after that effect that he was under for the next 6 days could come off, and they could either take the game and go back before they came to Deadwood, or run the game after what happened there in the street between him and Mercer, and have Mercer come back as a Herald. And if they do that, I will not miss that. He'd have to.
That's fair. I actually thought that one of them was her to begin. That would have been a good twist, by the way.
Right. It was a really good game. At the table, the best one was what's her name? Angeli, the one who played Miriam.
Yes.
I think she was probably the best role player at the table then, like through most of the series. It was really good.
As far as the only other thing that I was kind of
Boardwalk Girl, or the one with the dead sister?
Miriam was not the one with the dead sister.
Okay, fair enough.
The only thing that kind of just threw me off a little bit was them getting Huckster trait. All of them getting Huckster trait from the get-go. And that just made me think either A, he was doing that for the hell of it, or B, it was something from Suede. And I haven't gone completely over Suede, but it's just like, okay. And then the thing that kind of tweaked me off too was the fact that they didn't do Travis as a true blessed. He was doing Huckster. He was doing the deal with the devil. If he's doing the deal with the devil to get those things that happened to him, he should have had things happen to him for sinning, and he never had any of that happen. And we will take care of that too for those of you that are blessed. If you sin, things will happen. All right, we are here, and this is the beginning of the game. Everybody's got their drinks. Get comfortable, and here we go. All right. This is a time where, and for people that don't know, Deadlands is set in what's known as the Weird West. And in the Weird West, what has happened over time is, well, for one thing, the world has gotten very, very out of hand due to the Indians doing a ritual that basically brought kind of a reckoning to keep them from going extinct. And when that happened, it brought about the Manitou and some other things, like the Civil War went on longer than it should have, like way longer than it should have. It brought changes to the West in where creatures that had never been seen before would be brought into the territories of California and Utah and Nevada and all this, and it kind of freaked people out. They started to get scared. They didn't know what to think of all of this. They also found a resource that was called ghost rock, a mineral that whenever it was burned, it screams, which that's unusual, but hey, that's what the Weird West is. So basically, this setting, for those of you who don't know, it's a very horrific, very tense, almost Cthulhu-esque, and it's not the fact that you'll be losing your sanity, but you're always going to be looking over your shoulder. You're always going to be thinking, what kind of things are going to be coming out of the dark whenever you're riding out on the prairie or riding through the mountains in any portion of the West, from the upper West all the way down to almost the Mexico border, Texas, and that kind of thing. So yeah, so for those of you who have never played the Weird West, this is basically what it is. And in this game, we are starting out.
Hello. Okay.
We are
Sorry.
we are
My
okay.
there goes.
Excellent.
We are starting out in the city of Deadwood, South Dakota. And for those of you who are wondering, as far as that goes, Deadwood at this time, because of what had been going on in the Civil War, this entire territory, for all intents and purposes, is aligned with the Union. This is not anywhere connected with the South. I'm not saying that people from the South haven't made it up here, because also in this area of the country, there is a lot of mining for gold and just anything, gold, silver. This is the boomer bust time. People are coming, and that's why Deadwood is a camp. There are rough and tumble people here from all over. There are Chinese, there are Indians, there are white men, there are people, there are hucksters here to make their money. There are whores here to make money off of the hucksters. So you've got all kinds of different people here in this town that are trying to get ahead in life, and most of them would just as soon roll over you than look at you to achieve their goals. And amidst all of that, you have one person to kind of keep it all together, and her name is Sheriff Katie Carl. The regional marshal comes around on occasion to make sure things are in shape. But whenever he's not around, she is the law. She's a very beautiful woman. She's tall. She's about 6 foot, very rugged, carries 2 sidearms and a rifle, has a hat, has long red tresses. She's beautiful but haggard. In other words, she's been up here pretty much since the beginning of this getting started, and she's seen a lot. She's seen a lot of shady deals. She's seen a lot of people end up in the cemetery because of foolish choices, through gambling and just the way of life. And so she's seen a lot, and she's had a very storied history with this area of the country. And all of you have come to Deadwood for one reason or another, seeking your fortunes, doing different things, and have made it this way into town. And concurrently, you guys have been here for about a week. So people in town have seen you, you in different places, different parts of town, and you've seen the the rough and tumble way, people fighting in the streets, men and women fighting in the streets, children, ragamuffins that will come along and steal women's purses, that whole kind of thing. This is not a wholesome town. And let me move the map over. And you can see that it's not a large settlement, but there is a lot of different places that people go to. And one of the main places that people are affixed with here in town is we've got 2 places that are pretty much synonymous with gambling and as fine a dining as you can get. You've got the Grand Hotel and you've got the Bella Union. And you guys currently...
Tim, you're kind of cutting out a little bit. Just FYI. Discord's being a bitch.
Yeah, and is my volume too high or too low?
No, your volume's fine.
Okay.
Your volume's fine. It's just you're cutting out.
It's
making
like
you
bad Wi-Fi connection.
It's like if you're going the robot.
Oh well, yeah. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm on a hardwired cable connection. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But then again, that's Discord. Okay. And currently it
You can
is
always try reconnecting at another time. So
the beginning of spring. Winter was hard, but now things are warming up. You've got more people coming into town. You see the sheriff out making her rounds during the day, and all of you, for one reason or another, are in the Bella Union's grand, area where there's poker tables, the bar, and you see and hear all kinds of things. People talking, making deals. You see several ladies of the evening making their way to the different tables, trying to accommodate the various new acquaintances and stuff that have made their way into the Bell Union. And also, you see at the bar, there is a row of 5 dudes, all big men, cowboys that are, each one of them has a bottle right in front of them, and they are just drinking and cutting up and going crazy and kind of punching on each other. And let's see. All right, right here. All right, so you guys see what that's going on. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have you guys sitting at a couple of tables next to each other, and you guys might have bumped into each other for one reason or another. So you don't necessarily know each other. None of you know each other directly just yet. And to get the scene started, you've got 3 girls, women of the evening, making their way over towards these rough and tumble cowboys that are up against the bar, being just total assholes, and they figure, well, we better try and get some of their money before they drink it all up, and they make their way over to these guys, and they start to have a conversation, and the one of the bigger men, he starts talking to the women, and 2 of them don't like what he has said to them, and they both slap him. Just bam, one slaps him, and the other one slaps him and tries to leave. And when the other one tries to leave, he grabs her by the arm, and he goes, "You don't do that." And he goes and takes his other hand and takes out his pistol and goes to pistol whip her. And you guys see this. So, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to just observe or see what's going on here?
could you try to say that again because it was really cutting
Yeah,
out.
could you say all? Yeah, you cut it out.
Big
You need to
cowboy,
I think you need to reconnect and then see if that'll clear it up.
one of the
Yeah, I
like
just
one of the
reconnected.
prostitutes.
Hold on. Oh man.
All right. Legally, can I shoot him?
Legally, can you shoot him?
Like if I shoot the guy, will I get arrested and hung?
Yes.
Pagan. Question.
All right. Can you hear me now? I just reconnected.
Yeah. You're good. You're good now.
Hey, Pagan.
All right.
I'm gonna walk up behind the guy. I'm gonna press my pistol to his head.
Okay.
You mind putting your pistol away? I'll put mine away, and we'll all walk away, and no one will get hurt anymore.
And as he's not really paying attention to you at the time before you come up behind him with your pistol and try to put it up to his head, this guy is about 1.5 feet taller than you and has about 100 pounds on you. And when you put that up against his head, he goes, "Who's the little varmint that got his gun up against my back of my head?"
And you're gonna put your pistol away, and then I'll put mine away, and we're both gonna walk away from here nice and pretty, like.
All right, hold on.
You're gonna sit back down, and I'll sit back down.
All right. Got it.
Do I need to make out of character? Do I need to make an?
All right, hold on. All right, when you come up behind him and you've got your pistol up against his head, Well, this guy, he ain't afraid to die for no one or nobody. So what he's gonna do is try to in one swoop he's gonna push her down and come around to you and try to knock your pistol back before you can pull the trigger.
Oh, if he tries that, he's dead.
Well, hold on now.
Sorry.
Literally Charles Ogwell right.
What's that?
Literally, like my character, I just emulated that like on the camera. Literally my character right now.
Okay. All right, so he's going to make an agility roll and see if he can. Come on, roll 20.
The outlaw rolled a 3.
Okay. Now, he did that. He failed his agility roll. But at the same time, even with that, you've got to make your shot. So if you're going to shoot him, you've got to make a shooting roll. If you're not going to shoot him, tell me what you're going to do.
Oh no, I'm going to shoot.
So he did get her pushed out of the way, but now he's almost completely turned around and he's not completely facing you, but he's got his body at an awkward angle because you guys, the bar's there, you've got the bar stools, and then you guys are stepped out just so far from the bar stool. Excuse me. So he's in this weird position and you're standing the way you are. So he's kind of at a disadvantage, but with him moving, he's still fairly wiry, so you've got to go ahead and make your shooting roll.
Any bonuses?
Because you're up where you are, you just go ahead and make it. Now, if you're going to go ahead for a headshot, you're going to have to, well, shit, you're that close. Instead of giving you the -4 penalty, we're going to give you a -1 penalty. Because
give me a what?
-1.
Oh, all right. Cool. I'll go for a headshot. Flap. 4. Does that make it?
-1, so no.
-1. That's a 3. So basically.
Oh, in that case. Oh wait. Oh, sorry.
So basically, what happens is whenever you go to make that shot, he moves his head just a little bit, and it graces past his ear. And now you guys are just kind of locked, looking at each other, and he's like, "You dare to try and shoot me?" Now you two are in this little altercation. Is anybody else in the room going to do anything while this is going on?
So Al, he's you see, he's kind of just this grizzled old veteran type, hat down, like beard almost on like this 5 o'clock shadow. He kind of keeps kind of nice, but doesn't really give a shit too much. He has his feet up, and as soon as he sees like bullets starting to fly, he just he kind of just out of his back pulls out his huge ass lever action rifle and racks a shot, just as sort of like a get your shit together or things are about to get real kind of way. Just like a, like, how, like, you pump the shotgun and, like, instantly the room looks at you. He kind of, like, does, like, the lever action, just a, and, like, just, make sure, like, the room, knows, put things away or things are about to get real bad real fast.
And whenever you
say anything.
Oh, go ahead.
No, he just doesn't even say anything. He just kind of looks.
What's the room's general reaction once the gun?
You've got various people starting to scatter. You've got the women trying to go out the back. And there's a little bit of a commotion upstairs because they heard his shot go off. As far as anybody coming in, there's nobody coming in the door. So it's not pandemonium yet, because they've seen this kind of shit
people
before.
People start to get antsy.
But it's just like, yeah. And
okay. So Christoph's been sitting there nursing a tonic water for a few minutes, and kind of watching the bar soon as that first gunshot goes off, he tucks that tonic water against his chest and just ducks under the table, just sits with his back to the center, slowly breathing, trying to be like, it's okay, I'm gonna be okay. Oh my god. He's not used to the rough and tumble sort of stuff.
Okay. So as this is going on, the guys that are with him, the 4 dudes that are off to the side, they start to reach for their irons, and one of them looks over at Alex Crawford, and he goes, "You better be good with that."
And Alex sees him reaching for his gun, and he's just going to shoot the gun out of the holster with the rifle.
Okay, with that, before you do that shot, before everything goes on, we're going to go ahead and deal everybody. Got to shuffle here. We're going to get into some initiative here.
By the way, I do have quick, GM.
You have what?
I have quick.
Oh, same here.
Okay, just as long as you don't say quick draw, because you guys aren't of the deal to have quick draw just yet. Okay, so let me give you guys.
I'm ambidextrous and two-fisted, so we'll see how this.
Okay, let me deal everybody's cards. Hold on, let me get this going. All right, and then let me know if they come up okay, because sometimes Roll20 is glitching. All right, let me do this. All right, ready? There we go, and let me know if you guys can see them okay.
Ooh.
I have a playing card.
I've got a playing card too.
As do I.
All right. So in the initiative order, anybody got an ace?
Let's see.
I've got the Queen of Clubs.
I got a 10.
Okay, you got a 10 of hearts. Has anybody got any face cards?
I've got the Queen of Clubs.
Christoph has a Jack of Diamonds.
Okay. Okay, so we got a couple. What else did everybody else got?
I got the 8 of hearts.
Okay. Anybody got anything lower than an 8?
I've got the 7 of spades, but I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to hold.
I've got the 4 of diamonds.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So, and nobody's pulled it. Nobody's gotten the Joker.
No, he's gotten what?
Joker.
No, I don't think any of us got jokers.
Okay. All right. So, let's go with the high one, the Queen. Whoever's got the Queen on their initiative, what are you gonna do?
Well, I don't think I can do anything about the one that John Doe is engaged with, but I'm going to kind of saunter over to a couple of his friends, the least hot-headed of the group that I can pick out, and tell them, gentlemen, there's a lot more interesting things we can be doing tonight than getting involved in a stupid shootout that's just going to get you bloody. Let me play with another one of your guns. And I'm going to...
Yes! Excellent.
Okay, so you've made
So that would be what?
you went up and done that. All right, so you've moved over there. All right, so who's got the Jack?
Who had the Jack?
That would be me, Christoph.
All right, Christoph, what do you want to do?
So as he's cowering under the table, he's going to pull a small book from his satchel, clutch it tight to his chest, and he's going to quietly whisper to himself, "Dear Lord in heaven, if you can hear me, please protect me from whatever may come to pass here." Going to attempt to cast Deflection on myself. It's going to be at a -2 penalty, but I get a +2 bonus already. Straight faith roll.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
All right, go ahead and make your roll.
Oh dear God.
Flub, flub,
Snake eye.
flub.
Literally.
So what
Snake
what have we decided for Snake Eyes? Is that, can I re-roll that if with a Benny?
Yep, you can, but if you don't succeed with this whenever you use the Benny, you'll have something, you're still going to have something happen. God
Okay.
dang, fake snake. Roll 20 loved
Just
you,
to
man.
really get out of here, I'm going to drop a blue fate chip so that I can get a plus an extra d6 to this roll.
All right.
So, faith,
Ooh!
dear Lord, help me on my way.
Dang.
Nice.
Now, what's the effect of the deflect for you?
Doesn't have anything visible, but essentially for the next 3 rounds, anyone who tries to attack me is going to be at a -4 to hit.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we've got.
Marshall, should I have persuasion?
What's that?
Should I have rolled persuasion for trying to convince these two to leave the combat, basically?
Are you going to roll a persuasion, or did you?
Yes, because I'm quite persuasive.
I don't believe he rolled one.
No,
Okay.
we moved on to the next character.
All right. Go ahead and roll it now.
My bad.
Oh.
Oh my.
Well, I have a success because I have a 4 on the wild die.
Possibly.
No, I'll spend a white fate chip and reroll that.
If you want to, go ahead.
I do.
Hey.
That
I just realized I could have aimed that, couldn't I? And really have blown his head off.
Yeah, you could have. For the persuasion, that guy, you've got that guy and the one next to him, because there's 4 of them, so there's 5 actually. There's the one that ducked the shot, the 4 off to the side, and 2 of them are like looking at you, you kind of like got them looking at you like, what the hell are you talking about? So it's like they're not, they don't have their hands off on their weapons so much as that guy and the one down at the end that's wanting to go after Mr. Rifle Dude there. So you've got your persuasion working. Our guy under the table has got his deflect going on. So we got the Queen Jack. Did somebody have a 10?
Yes, I had a 10 of I had a 10 of hearts.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Gotta start where you finish. How close is he to me? Do I still get bonuses to shoot? He's literally like right in front of me.
As far as the distance across this room, this is a fairly large room, so you're talking about 30 feet one direction and about 50 feet the other way, so it's like a large room. From you, I'd say probably 5 feet.
Yeah, do I get bonuses from how close I am?
Well, you're within your range, so if it's 12, 24, and 48, let's say it's not within 12, but because of the proximity being inside, I'd give it a +2.
All right, cool. I'm gonna aim and blap blap. Double tap. And yes, I have a what do you call them? One of them fakers are double action too, so that's a +2 to damage, I think.
Yeah.
No, not plus. Oh, yep. Okay. Hang on, let me get my shooting. Shooting. Here we go. I aimed at too, by the way. Wait, what? Roll.
doesn't it take a full turn to
Yeah,
to take effect?
I believe it. That's why there's that's why there is the marksman edge. Because aim takes up your entire turn,
Yeah.
and then the next. That's how it works.
You aim one turn, and then you
Oh.
get to use it. You get to make the shot the next.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind then. Then I
Yeah.
don't aim if that's alright with you then.
All right.
Still, with a 5, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
With a 5, which is actually a 7, yeah, I think I hit him.
Yeah. Didn't get the raise, but yeah. All right. Go ahead and roll for damage. And let me check something here.
And I think that's actually a plus double tap, so that's actually a 9. No, not. Actually, yes, it is a 9 damage.
Okay, hold on. Let me check there. 9. Well, his toughness is a 4. Or no, his toughness is 5, actually. So, let's see. All right. So you hit him, and he shook. All right.
He shook.
He's like, ah! Like, what the fuck? All right, so we did Jack, Queen, Jack, 10. Anybody got a 9?
I have an 8.
8 of diamonds?
8 of hearts.
And whose character is that?
That would be Alex.
Okay. All right, Alex, what do you want to do?
Alex, he's gonna seeing the before this sort of much he would love to have a kind of a bloodbath. He is fairly smart enough to know that's probably not the best idea. So he's gonna just shoot the gun like out of the holster of the dude who's trying to draw with his rifle.
Well, no, you're the one with the rifle, aren't you?
Yeah, well that's what I meant.
That's when he said
My rifle to
he
shoot.
said you better be able to use that, but he's not. He don't have. All these guys have got pistols. You're the only one.
Yeah,
with the rifle.
that's what I meant. I'm just gonna shoot the pistol out of his revolver. I'm sorry.
Okay, if you're going for a called shot, you're gonna have to do it like you're going for the head.
So that's like what, a minus
4. Minus 4.
4. All right. Well,
that's a very
I'm not gonna
pinpoint
move.
shot. But yeah, you don't have to move. But where you're at, it's like, yeah, that's a pretty pinpoint shot.
All right.
Let's see what happens here.
So it's gonna be it's actually just a -2 to the shot because of marksman.
Okay. All right, let me see here. So 5. You do it, and he is kind of knocked back a little bit up against the bar, and kind of throws him back. And not only did you you didn't really just blow it off of the holster and everything. You blew the holster around, and you put a hole in his leg.
All right, should I roll damage then?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Right.
Let's see what you get.
You didn't
Went
do that,
down.
Okay.
You killed him.
Yep, 5.
I might have just blown this land's leg off.
Is that a 16 or 18?
Well, I guess you're getting a bloodbath
16,
after all.
I believe. 'Cause it's just the rifle. Oh, it's AP too, so I'm not sure. But I don't think that really applies.
So, yeah, he's not dead, but you just put him on the floor. He's got one left because you shaked him and hit him through 2. So he's like he ain't getting back up. That shot was so precise that it kind of it's like getting shaken by a locomotive train. It shook his whole body, and his leg has got a big ass fucking hole in it, and he is basically on the ground in shock. Now, just about the time that shot goes off, before anything else goes on, you guys hear a commotion out in the thing, like, "Oh shit! Here she comes! Here she comes!" So you guys hear that going on out there out in the main street that's in front of the Bella Union. You don't know who it is just yet, but you can hear the townsfolk outside, and it's just like, oh boy, okay. So somebody, you don't know who it is getting ready to make their way into the Bella Union here in just a minute or so. All right, so you made your shot there. The other two dudes are the ones that were persuaded are like looking dumbfounded. So they're seeing that dude on the ground. They're seeing the big dude right next to him over there into it with Noah's character, and it's like we're just gonna
John Doe.
John Doe. We're just gonna stand here and see what else is going on. So they're not doing anything. They're holding their action. Xuan Yu, you are there. You see all this going on. What do you want to do?
Continue to watch because I'm fascinated by what's going on. It's the first time I've ever.
I guess I should have realized that probably shooting a dude's holster out with a 50 caliber bullet is probably not the best idea. It's like, yeah, you're gonna blow his gun out, but also his leg as well along with it.
And those two guys, the two guys that were persuaded, going, "Oh shit! Somebody needs to get the doc. We don't want him to die. That's our brother." And so they're starting to yell. It's because like there's the blood is just starting to kind of just like coagulate out onto the floor, and okay. So there's Anthony, yours was what? Was a 5?
It was a 4.
4. Okay, nobody has done it. So we go back to the top of the round. But just as this is about to happen, the double doors of the bar break through, and you see this tall woman, long duster, hat, rifle out, these two really shiny but weathered Colt 45s on her hips, and a great big shiny badge. And she busts in. She goes, "Before any of you motherfuckers make another shot, somebody better tell me what's going on, because if you don't, I'm going to take each and every one of you out." And when she busts in, the bartender goes, "Oh shit, Sheriff Katie. What the fuck's going on in here?"
Okay. I'll explain what happened then.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, you actually want me to?
Yes,
I
roleplay
see.
it, RP.
I saw this, and I gestured to the guy with my pistol. This guy here, I saw him assault with his pistol, and so I decided to intervene. And unfortunately, he decided to be belligerent and resist. So I shot him. You know, in defense of that woman, of course.
Never admit to firing the first shot.
To be fair, though, he assaulted the woman first, though.
Doesn't matter, you fired the first shot. Sheriff, what happened, actually, my friend's leaving out a key detail because he's so shaken from the whole incident, clearly. What happened was, this guy here, he struck the poor working girl with his gun, yes. But then he pointed the gun right at was going to take the shot if my friend here hadn't intervened. So he saved this poor girl's life.
Anybody else see that?
I did. Also, if you're wondering about the guy on the floor, I may I may have overestimated the caliber of my rifle, and I was just trying to shoot the gun out of his holster. I kind of ended up also shooting a hole in his leg, so you may want to get the content on that.
I wonder if this gun is a 22 caliber. I don't know. Maybe. I'm going to find out.
You just see it's just a grizzled or you see just a grizzled or old war veteran a little bit kind of embarrassed. He's like, oh, whoop. And he's just got this big ass lever action rifle on his shoulders, just kind of like sitting there chilling.
It's the after war panic, Sheriff. He kind of had a flashback.
And as you guys are telling her this, she's walking further and further into it and walks over to the bar where you guys are, and she walks up to the big dude that was starting the shit in the first place, just because he commands the greatest vantage point just by his size in the room. And she goes, so these guys here are telling me you started some shit in my town. Is that true? And he looks down at her and he goes, yeah, what are you going to do about it? And when he says, what are you going to do about it? With the speed of a gazelle, she lifts her knee up so fast he don't fucking see it, and she plants it where she gets right into both of his nuts. He hits the ground, and she reaches with her gloved hand, and on her gloves, they're weathered, but they've got little bits of those leather stringlets coming off. And her hands for a woman are kind of big, and she puts her hand around her throat, and she goes, you and your boys have been so much trouble for these last 2 weeks that you have been here. Now, I'm going to have the bartender get hold of Ben and get your boy out and over to the docks. You guys have got 2 days to get your shit and get out of my town. Because if you don't, I'm going to come looking for all of you, and I'm going to take care of you myself. And as she's saying that to him, he's moaning in pain from where she kneed him in the balls, but also he can't do much more than that because she's got such a grip on him that his eyeballs are starting to bug out a little bit because he can't breathe that good. And she goes,
I like her.
And she goes, you gonna do what I say, boy? And he's nodding his head and he goes, yes. And she looks over at the bartender and she goes, get Ben in here, get him up off the floor, get that shit cleaned up. And she goes, before you do that, did these boys start any other than what they've said? What's the situation with them before I came in here? And the bartender says they was just minding their business. They bought some drinks. They've been here for just a very short time. And these boys were starting to try to rough up on the girls. And that bartender is kind of like, he's telling it, but he's kind of looking all sheepish, because he don't want to get those guys kind of after him, but he don't want her mad either. And she goes, well, all right. And she goes, get him up, and you boys get out of here. Like I say, once he's fixed up from the dock, going to give you a couple days to let him heal, and then you guys got to get out of town. If you don't get out of town, I'm going to come looking for you, and you ain't going to like what I do. And they start to walk out. They walk past you guys that are sitting at your table and all that stuff. And they look back. Even the big guy, they all look back at you with these kind of just evil kind of looks like, motherfuckers, you just wait. We'll get your ass. They've just got that kind of look. And she comes over to the table where the largest group of you are sitting. And she sits down and she goes, bring me a fucking bottle.
I'll see the Mormon still under the table, and I'll be like, I kind of like lean down there as he's like shaking. I think it's over, my friend. You can come out now. You might want to come
By
out.
the way, I put away my pistol by this point.
Well, yeah, Alex just kind of racks his gun into his rifle boot on his back.
You guys can shuck your initiative cards,
the missionaries,
by the way.
What?
You can just shuck your cards out, since we're not in any kind of melee or anything anymore.
Chuck them out?
Yeah, just shuck them out.
Yeah.
Then that way, you just click and drag it out onto the tabletop, and then it'll.
And Alex is kind of under there, like, I'm not sure if you're a father, like a priest, but Sir, it's all right to come out of under there. Just so you know.
Christoph looks over at you. Pretty obvious he's in his early 20s and scared shit. But he nods and slowly.
Alex gives him a hand, like to pull him, to help him up.
He downs the rest of his tonic water. This has been an interesting 24 hours.
Welcome to the West, friend.
Welcome.
She goes, I've been seeing you boys here in town for the last week or so. So what brings you to these parts? She's still waiting for her bottle.
Alex just kind of huffs, lights a kind of cigar in his mouth, and he I just kind of wander, and this happened to be the place I'm wandering in right now. See if I can find a job or two. If I don't happen to, wander to the next place.
Seeing that the bartender is busy, Fiona fixes the sheriff's order to drink herself and brings it to the table.
Okay.
John the bottles, and specifically the big guys. I assume that they're still left.
What's that?
Oh, I'm taking one of the outlaws' drinks.
Okay, all right.
And I'm gonna drink that before I explain. Well, name's John Doe. My story is much the same. Just been wandering around this home territory of mine. Well, I've been, I'm Dakota born and bred, you see. And well, I'm just looking for work.
Well, in this town, there's all kinds of things to do. But one thing that you don't want to do is get on my bad side. And she takes the bottle, and she takes a big pull off of it. She don't ever use the glass. And her hair is long, but she's taken care of. She's a good-looking woman. She doesn't use a lot of makeup. She has a deep lines on her face, tan, haggard, very deep chin. Not large-breasted, but not small either. You can see that she's packing some boobs in that shirt, but she's very tough. Size-wise, you figure her to be about 6'1", 6'2". And she looks over and she goes, Chinaman, come here for a minute. And she looks over at Xiao Yu. She sees everything. She's got like eagle eyes. Her peripheral vision is always looking. And she goes, didn't you just come into town recently?
Yes.
Ah, are you looking for work?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I was over at my office, and somebody come a-banging on my door, and I was getting ready to do some paperwork that I needed to do for the marshal. He's going to be here soon, within the next month, and this little ruckus kind of put a dent in my day. But it might not be so at a loss. Now, to all you boys, I've got a situation that needs to be taken care of, but I've got some other things that I need to do before we get to getting down to business. So I'm going to make this proposition to you that I need to get back and do some things around town before I go back to my office. And currently, time-wise, it is about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And she goes, my office closes at 5 o'clock this evening. I want all you boys to come to my office, and I might have an idea of something that you guys could do that would be beneficial to me, and I could be beneficial to you. But she goes, as she's drinking about down to the halfway point of that bottle, she goes, but up until that time, I just got to say this. And she says this to everybody. Better not be no more shit over here at the Bella Union. I've got enough troubles. to deal with without having to deal with you people. She goes, next time I come back in here and I have to mess with something like this, I'm going to come in guns blazing. Fortunately, these fellers here kind of stopped the situation from getting any worse, except for this feller over here shooting the dude so bad that he had to go see the doc. But that ain't none on me because I didn't fucking do it. So, go back to your drinking, go back to your gambling. And she looks over at you guys and she kind of tips her hat and she goes, like I said, if you want to get into a possible good situation, be at my office at 5 o'clock this evening. And she turns around, wipes the dust off her duster, slams the bottle down, and she goes, Benny, get that boy out of here. And they're still trying to get things cleaned up, and they're getting ready to kind of put him on a little bit of they went up and got a couple of the sheets from out of the rooms upstairs, and they're going to drag him across because this boy's a little bit chunky, got a little bit of a belly to him. The guy that you shot in the leg, he's about 5'11", weighs about 260, but he's carrying it in his gut, so it makes it awkward for just trying to throw somebody up on your shoulder. And the bartender and Benny are just basically little dudes, so they're going to have to drag him out over to the docks. The dude ain't dead, but he's lost a lot of blood, and he's just kind of like,
I mean, this is the Old West. Chances are good he might die anyways.
Yeah, because, if he goes to the dock could fuck him up. You never know. As far as the technology was at the time for, medical care. So it's like he has, but, he also has just as much of a chance to live also. And as they go out, things kind of, what do you call it? Get back to normal. People are looking at you guys like, what the hell? And at the same time, as things, within about 10 minutes or so after she's left, a couple of the girls that were in the altercation with that guy come over to y'all's table and they go, gentlemen, we would like to thank you very much for saving us from a rather awkward situation. And the one goes, it's not just an awkward situation, you twit. We could have been killed by that big oaf. Yes, sister, that's true. We would just like to say that we'd like to buy all of y'all dinner. And if you'd like to acquire us for any services, well, you know where to find us. And they both kind of wink and walk over to the bar and they chuck a couple pieces of gold down. And it's like, if you guys want anything, if you want more drinks or if you want something to eat, they will bring you a meal.
I'll get both.
What time did you say it was, Marshall?
Well, time-wise
Right
now, it's about a
now?
little bit after 1 o'clock.
All right. Yeah, Alex will just kind of just get drinks.
Fiona's going to track the girls down before they go upstairs and give them their money back from her own pocket. Girls, I understand how hard it is working out here. You need to keep what you earn, and it's definitely not worth them. Consider this my treat.
And they both look at you and go, are you sure?
I'm positive, darling.
And they go, okay. And they kind of go on about their business. And they go, thank you kindly. And they go on back to what they're doing. And so anything that you want, basically, within the next little bit, they bring you out something to eat, some drinks. And the weather, you kind of look outside and you can tell that the sun's starting to kind of get clouded over. And at about 2:30, 3 o'clock, as you guys have just been sitting there watching people go in and out, about 3 o'clock, it starts to rain. And the people go, oh. And the bartender goes, oh, shit. And as he says, oh, shit, this man, little dude, about, 50 years old, he's got black pants on, a white shirt with little black armbands, and this bowler hat. And he goes, good day. And he goes, yeah, get your ass over there. So he goes over and starts to play on the little player, the piano. And it's out of tune, but he manages to get something going on it. And there are a couple poker games going in, but the bartender's going, Benny's over there back behind the bar, and he goes, son of a bitch, the worst time of day. He goes, "What are you complaining about? There's still a good amount of people." "Yeah, but the boss likes it better when the place is full." And he goes, "Well, it will be later." And he goes, "Yeah, but I got things I want to do, and I just wish it would liven up a little bit so we can make some money in here. The more we make, the more I make." And he goes, "You're just a greedy old fucker." And he goes, "Yeah, but I've been here longer than you have, Sonny. Now get back there to cleaning them glasses and get that next keg of beer out here. We're almost out." So the younger guy goes and does his job, and the bartender's just sitting there with his head up on his fist and just looking around at everybody. And every so often somebody will come up and get a shot, and he'll pour the drinks for him. And as far as time goes, it's now almost 4 o'clock, so you got about an hour before the sheriff's office is going to close. So you guys want to do anything? Do you just want to stay in the Bell Union and wait for the weather to chill out, or?
So we're gonna have to be there at 5 sharpish, right?
Yeah, she says be there at 5.
That's what the lady said.
All right.
Alex just kind of has his feet again kicked up on the table. He's just kind of like, you can see the look in his eyes that he's kind of just lost all care for the most part. There's almost that 1,000-yard stare that he just kind of gets sometimes, and then just kind of shakes it off and goes back to drinking and smoking. And
Hey, old timer. By the way, John is referring to you. By the way, Alex.
yeah. What you have it?
Thanks for the assist back there.
Yeah, not my best work. Sometimes you tend to underestimate the power of your gun. Most of my job with blasting heads, Can't say I was really practicing disarming, more like disembowling.
Yeah.
Charles Argol gets up from the table that he's sitting at, and he begins to move towards the table that Alex and John are at. Charles is wearing a poofy frilly shirt, almost kind of like a faded pink and color, and his hair too is just like big and large and salt and pepper.
By the way,
wearing maroon trousers, just like really, really ugly dressed, really eccentric. Anyways, sorry, did you want to say something before I continue?
Yeah, I was going to say, so old timer, what's your name? Name's John, by the by, but you probably already heard that.
Alex Crawford.
Doe. John Doe.
John Doe.
All right.
Quite an interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
Quite an interesting name, but who's the fucking peacock coming over here?
Go ahead. That's you, Charles. Go ahead, man.
Are you saying that loud enough for Charles to hear?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. He's saying it loud enough for the Bell Union to hear.
I mean, I just tip my hat to you and say, "Sup, tin horn."
Excellent, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to meet. I am dressed quite loudly, and I do that on purpose, and I'm glad I caught your attention. He sits down, he puts one arm on the table, leans. I'm not really well off with weapons as the two of you are, as it be, but I do have one on me that I think you might appreciate. And he takes this hunk of a weapon that almost looks like a revolver and places it on the ground. Now, it has the same sort of shape as a revolver. The handle itself is a little bit fatter. The barrel, instead of being like maybe a quarter of an inch, is almost about an inch wide. Like, it looks like a fatter revolver, and it's corrugated as well. It's got little... I'm here trying to sell this piece. This piece doesn't actually fire bullets. No need for ammunition. Instead, it fires fire. Right? I've assembled it myself. It is the I forget what it's called. Bear with me here. I'm gonna pull it up. One second.
Are you one number, mad son? Are you one? Is that one of their infernal devices?
What? No, of course not. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I'm not even an engineer. I've never went to school. I don't have a solid education behind me. I just build things. but this is my fire-inducing revolver of excellence, and I guarantee you it will light up your day.
Well, listen here, salesman. Listen. As long as I get a bullet to the man's head, I don't care what kind of thing it fires. So I'm good with the guns I got.
Hold
Okay,
on a second.
before we
Sorry,
continue,
one second. I gotta be right back. I'm getting a phone call.
All right, we'll let him do his phone call here real quick. All right, so he's come over and.
While sorry, I'll wait. So
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, while everyone else in Versus getting to know each other, Christoph's sitting at the bar, noticing another tonic water.
Okay.
And when it starts pouring outside, he's gonna ask the bartender, "Do you is it raining often here?"
Goes, Sonny, it's the end of winter. We're trying to finally get past all the slug and slush and bullshit that we've had to deal with for this long cold season. It's just, I just wish we could get into it where it's a little bit warmer and not so damnable, fucked up weather. Because once that gets in, we're going to get more and more people in town. And when more and more people get in town, that means I'm going to make that much more money for the boss.
Suppose that makes sense. Personally, I'm just like having a bright sky to look at. Where I'm from, it's usually pretty smoggy out most times.
And just to give you kind of an outlook on that, also as far as it being, the beginning of spring, it hasn't hit the point yet of where we're past where we're coming into daylight savings time. So in other words, here in North Dakota or South Dakota in Deadwood, in the evenings it gets dark around 4:30. And even now it's getting more darker because of the fact that you've got rain going on out there. But as you guys are talking and so on and so forth, it is getting darker outside just because of the night settling in. But also with the fact with that is the rain is a little bit more intermittent. It'll rain for 15 minutes and then it'll stop and you'll hear a little bit more activity outside. And then you'll hear it kind of burst back in for a little bit. So it's like these clouds are just kind of coming over in waves and spots where they are, rain filled, and they're just dropping the shit out there. And you can hear people riding by with their horses and stuff, and as their wagons and things, and you can hear the slug of the wheels through the mud. You can hear that very squishy kind of clop that a horse's hoof makes through a muddy street. So there is still activity going on even in this shitty weather, because the town's got different things going on from the store to the doctor's office, the whole 9 yards. A little rain ain't gonna stop it. But for those that are in the business of keeping the ballroom full as it is, considering various hotels and other establishments in town, it's depressing until evening hits when a lot of the cowboys come in from out in the various areas where they're bringing in cattle. Then you got miners that have come down from the hills that are bringing down gold and silver to exchange and stuff. But it's just like sometimes the places are full up all the way from opening to close, and other times they're not. And it's just because right now there's not so much of an influx of people coming in just yet, because winter kind of stopped a lot of other than certain supplies coming in as far as people seeking their fortunes. You guys have come in just about the right time because of the fact that the weather from the east to the Midwest to the west has broken enough for travel. But it's still, even with that happening, there are still going to be fits of there could be storms up in the mountains, snowstorms. There could be tornadoes. You never know because it's so volatile before it finally levels out, that way. So it's going to be a little bit depressing in town. And you've noticed also that over the last week or so that you've been here, the attitude of people. There are very few people that are overly friendly. They're only friendly if they have to be. So it's like it's not like a feeling of dread in this town, but it's a feeling of like a what the fuck attitude. It's like, why are we here? It's just like it's a dependency on that. The only reason why that they haven't left is because everybody here knows that one way or another there's some way that they can make money. If there wasn't a way for them to make money here, they would go far, far away. And Charles, are you cool now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to you.
mean,
What would you?
I'm sure. I'm just trying to sell a gun. That's all for the low price of 1,000.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, my friend, I'm a bit low on dinero. Like, really low. Like, only $1 to my name low.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. How about you, sir? Are you interested in buying this fantastic, fiery piece of machinery?
God.
I see. Okay, yes. I'll just
This dude's
take
got.
this off the table and put it back in the
I
holster.
like your facial expressions while you're trying to sell this. It's like you're the dude that would try to sell. You're the dude that would try to sell shit to the sanitation department.
Yeah.
I've got a truckload out here in the alley.
It's seriously. It's absolutely. It's compost. Like it goes in well. It mixes well and helps decompose.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
Hold on, I'll be right back 1 second. I left the door open. It's fine. Fine.
Also, well, I'll let him put his headphones back on. Also, just curious, do you have this on your character sheet?
What it's under my power.
No, I mean this weapon.
You mean what?
The weapon that you're trying to sell them.
Yeah,
it's powers because he's mad scientist.
Exactly. So you make contraptions.
Oh, I know that, but I'm just saying if this particular thing was put in your gear or your weapons or whatever. Because, like I say, if I don't see
it,
it,
have to be because it.
Huh?
Yeah. So if you scroll down into my powers, where contraptions, I have it listed there.
Yeah, they go into powers instead of
gear.
That's how.
Okay. All right. Well, just whatever section, because I had to go over everybody's sheets. All right. So you're trying to sell this thing for what? $1,000?
$1,500 for the low price up.
Fiona pats him on the shoulder as she walks by and says, "You got to work on your sales pitch, dog."
What? What's wrong with my sales pitch? I believe my sales pitch is fantastic. Thank you.
You don't have a purchase. Sweetie, sex sells.
You suggest I sleep with my weapon? Oh, or you suggest I sleep with the buyer?
Yeah. No, that, or you find someone lovely and, busty to help to your product.
Like a sales partner.
Very tight, like a sales partner, yes. You get a woman in a tight brassiere holding that up to her chest.
Yes. Yes. Would you gentlemen rather purchase my pistol from this lovely lady for the low price of $1,750?
The price just went.
I have to think about the overhead of her business partners. You need your cut, and I'm not definitely going to take it out of my initial price. So I'll just up it by $250. The plan is flawless.
You're a funny man, Doc. And now, Miss, I don't think we've been acquainted. Names you probably already heard, but my name's John. What's your name, Miss?
The name's Fiona Green, and I must say that I'm not overly fond of men who.
Well, they would have shot your friend.
That's a bit rough, buddy. But Mr. Charles, I have a suggestion. Maybe, just maybe, You shouldn't try to sell such an expensive item in such a, well, shithole like this. You are in the middle of southern South Dakota in the American West. We are about a couple hundred miles away from any sort of large civilization, and yet you're trying to sell a gun that a man that who make possibly more money than I do in my lifetime would be able to buy. Reason.
Sir, you're mistaken. I find myself, yes, in South Dakota, but in one of the largest mining operations in the United States.
You think miners make enough money to pay you $1,000 for?
Do you know how much it actually makes? Or are you just one of those people who, or was your family just telling you that, yeah, fucking, you ain't gonna give a shit what I say?
That's why I came here in the first place. People are mining for gold. Gold is in the mountains. Someone's bound to hit a strike and get rich soon.
Might be waiting a bit, partner.
Mr. Charles, was it Charles? Yes, yeah. Okay, Charles, you do know that none of these people actually own their mining share, right?
Someone's bound to strike gold.
Yes.
John stands up and pats you on the shoulder. It's Charles, right? It's gonna be all right. I'm sure eventually someone will do strike it rich and will eventually buy your product.
Well, the one. Hold on.
Thank you. I agree entirely.
One thing, though, just to let you guys know, kind of a provenance thing about the time now. Okay, let's say in the interior of Deadwood itself, and those that are camped on the outside and are at their various claims and stuff. Let's say you have 2,500 people, and let's say 750 of them are miners that are out, either for ghost rock, gold, or whatever they're out mining for. You got to figure about 50% of those guys are their own claims, and then the rest are for either people that are rich that live in this area, or people that are rich that live in some of the larger cities in the Dakotas and places to the south. So you got a 50-50 chance of somebody being able to buy the gun or anything, for having whatever kind of claim, whether it is the gold, silver, or ghost rock. So, yeah, so you got about a 50-50 chance of that. But it's just finding those people that are going to want to pay $1,500 up to $1,750 for a little gun that shoots fire.
Yeah, allegedly shoots fire.
Allegedly, because it has not. It's not been. It's so far. It has not been.
Never.
It has not been proved to me.
It has not been demonstrated yet. You've been asked the question. Does it work?
Well, I would, if you don't mind. I am kind of interested if you could give a live demonstration, of course, not on something living, hopefully.
Or inside a big wooden building.
Yes, I agree with inside the big wooden building. That would be stupid. Yes.
Maybe out in the rain where if something does catch fire, it'll hopefully not burn the entire town to the ground.
I'd be more demonstration of my firearm. Absolutely. Shall we? No pun intended. Firearm. Yes. Shall we all go outside and I'll fire off a few shots for you?
At any rate, gentlemen, isn't it getting up to 5 right now?
You guys, as far as time-wise, you guys have got about 30 minutes till. Okay, with that, if you guys are going to go outside, as far as areas that you can do this, you have the main street that's right there. I wouldn't necessarily do that, but on either side of the Bella Union are two narrow alleys, one that's a little bit wider than the other and a little bit longer that just goes on out to the backside. Let's get the ping on up here. See the ping, where the pings and things are. So let's get up in here. All right, let me see something here real quick just before I get all uppity. I've got to move this over. Okay, what's my number? Come here, bugger. Okay. Actually, it's over in here because the Bella Union's right here. Number 8's the Bell Union. So you've got over here where you can go, and then this here. So you can come over here to this one that's a little bit wider for your demonstration. If you're wanting to make sure that you don't endanger any citizens that are out taking care of their business in the main streeted areas of Deadwood.
I'll look at, or Charles will look at the people sitting at the table. If a few of you want to grab a table, and we'll take it outside, and we'll put it on its side, and now we'll test it against the table. Unless we can walk out of town, and I'll just fire on a mountain. I think the table might be the best. Besides, it's wood burns. And how can I prove to you that it actually is a fire weapon if there's nothing burning?
How about just a chair? Might not want to take a whole table. Chairs, though, are pretty expendable. Or how about just a rotten piece of wood? That would work, too. I'm sure they got a couple.
Someone said it. Tin hole. I'm not such a good shot. The bigger the target, the better. I don't even know if I can hit the broadside of a barn.
So you guys going to take a chair out? The bartender is hearing you guys, and he goes, "You better pay me for that."
How much, bartender?
50 cents.
50 cents? Whew! Charles will pick up the chair and just like walk outside, hoping that someone else will like foot the bill.
Not Cracker. Alex will flip 2 quarters in the direction of the bartender.
All right. So somebody ping where you guys are going to do the shot at. You got over here. Ding. Okay, you guys are going to go out there. All right.
Yeah, we're going.
So I think what we're going to do is we're going to head out there, like boom, and then like maybe face towards. There's an alley down that way.
All right.
Fiona's just going to sit down with Xiao Yu because she doesn't want to go to jail for dangerous and untested weapon.
Sure, there's a window.
It's been tested, just not here once.
Okay. Considering what you do, Charles, and what this could possibly be, we will go with the possibilities of failure that go with a weapon of that caliber. I don't want to say anything for discontinuity of what it is or what it isn't.
No, that's fine. I'm entire. That's entirely okay.
So, are you going to make the shot, or are you going to let one of them make the shot?
I will first make the shot.
Alex will stand way back. He's gonna like, I ain't trust.
And as far as in your hand, how big? As far as when it's in your hand, what is the size of this? Is it closer to the size of a 38?
It's closer to a revolver. Oh, like a
bigger than a Derringer, I would assume.
Yeah, I know it's about the size of a revolver. Like, have we all seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
No,
it's been years. It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Okay, so there's this gun, a revolver, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it's fat, like it's a fat revolver.
Okay.
Like it's slightly larger. Like I don't want to say an oversized revolver because it's not huge, but like it's noticeably fatter.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So Charles will take the revolver, this flame-inducing revolver of X, and he'll make a shot against the chair. No, I didn't. 4 is a success, I think. Did you want me to roll the damage?
Oh, nice! You found the picture.
Yeah,
of it.
go ahead and roll whatever. Roll whatever you're supposed to have for that.
Yeah. So yeah, just this. There we go. So this a small, about an inch thick jet of greenish orange flame leaves the barrel of this revolver and races almost instantaneously to this chair strike. The gun itself doesn't make the pop sound a regular revolvers would. Instead, it would be more of a as opposed to a pow, right? Okay. So he pulls the trigger, and this jet of flame leaves the barrel and hits the chair, causing it to, I guess, erupt in greenish orange flame.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that
And there we have it, my friends.
That is quite interesting, but it does not excuse the fact that I still can't afford it. So I'm gonna just head over to the sheriff's office because I believe she's.
all right. As far as that goes, yeah, it's
Expecting us.
it's
And
about
Alex-
5 minutes till 5, and you guys have made that shot, and it is quite spectacular. It's definitely an interesting weapon, and so you guys are all together. You're going to make your way over to the sheriff's office, and let me see something here real quick before you start your walk over there. Let me do some deletages. Whoa, what the heck? Let me do something here. Can you guys see the map, or did it go?
It
That
was
was
white. Yeah, we it's like that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward goes to like the white area when he's doing all the time travel shit.
Never watched Spon-
Okay, hold on.
Hell.
That's not, you know what? Let's see if like tonight we can all like throw out something that someone has seen but everyone else hasn't. So far we're 2 for 2.
All right, let me do something here.
Does everyone need to understand the reference for this game?
No,
So it's either
No.
one,
Like,
everyone
you-
has
like-
to get it, or
no, like you just use
All
this
right.
like the form of media, whatever the show was, use it to kind of explain a situation. So, for example, I used Who Framed Roger Rabbit with the revolver, right? I think Alex Crawford used SpongeBob SquarePants. I think it was used SpongeBob
Yeah.
SquarePants to describe this, right? So, right there, we've got something that one person had mentioned that not everyone has, right, in both instances. So, that's the kind of trick for this game.
Okay. let me
I'm
do
trying to
this.
like. I've got like this thing on my screen. I'm using my pencil eraser to like erase. That's why my camera's shaking in case you see it shake.
All right, can you see it now?
There's a map there.
All right, cool.
Yes.
All right,
This-
okay. All right, now let me go back to what I was looking
there,
for.
it looks like there's
On the screen.
Well,
Tiny.
okay, all right.
oh my god, I see it. That's funny.
Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is,
Um,
since they don't have it directly on here, I'm just going to ping it and say that her office is right over here. So you guys have gotten your stuff together, and are heading over to her office, and the rain has stopped, and the clouds are kind of dissipating, and it's surprisingly dark for 5 o'clock at night. And with the clouds having dissipated, the mud is not ankle deep or anything bad like that, but there is a good little slosh. People are starting to light lights in the various buildings and stuff along the way in windows, so things are starting to get lit up for the evening. But you notice overhead that there is a large chunk of sky that has no stars whatsoever at all. But then you look off on the distance in like this periphery that goes all the way around 360 degrees. You figure that you are looking, your vision, from what you can see, just looking out at the sky and being in a spot where you can look all the way across, have your field of vision kind of level. You figure that you don't see any stars for at least, probably 250 miles, you would figure, all the way around this. There's no stars. It's pitch black, other than what light that you guys have here. There's little bits of twinkles off in the distance from the stars that are not that are not showing. And another thing that you notice, as far as some of the rock walls and stuff that surround various parts of the outer edges of Deadwood, that the rock and some of the the cactuses and the various shrubs and plants and things like that are have a tinge, a little bit of a glow, but nothing like totally neon, but a glow of like a purplish green. As far as air, there's a little bit of a breeze. It's like it's not over, nothing like a gale or anything, but there is air moving. A little bit of a wind out. No unusual smells except for people starting to light their wood fires in their stoves and things like that. People are cooking dinner and stuff like that, so you can smell various smells, just things that you would smell in the evening as people are getting ready to go about their business for the rest of the night before things shut down. And what you do see is in the window of the sheriff's office, you see Katie Carl messing with some rifles and putting them in various slots on a case that sits back behind her desk. The window says sheriff's office. You can see tattered, old, dilapidated curtains on it. White door with her name in a star, kind of etched and painted onto the deal. And she's kind of got her back to you, so she doesn't see you as you guys come up to the building where her office is. And as far as how close you guys are about almost to walk up on the porch, the porch area and the awning that's over her office. So you're like just maybe less than 5 feet from getting up to there. And she's still doing her thing. She doesn't see or hear you guys at all from her vantage point inside her office. So what are y'all going to do?
Yeah, there's not.
And she hears you knocking and she turns around. She goes, "You boys, come on in."
Charles will open the door. I'm only saying that because I physically knocked. So I'm there first. Yeah, Charles will open the door and walk in first, and then we'll walk as far across the room as possible so that everyone will move in comfortably.
Alex will take the middle seat if there is one, or
there's
the middle
enough
position.
Chairs. Yeah, there's enough chairs. They're kind of spaced up around the wall and stuff, and there's enough. Actually, there's more than enough for you guys to sit.
Yeah, Alex will just take the middle one in like the row, right in front of the sheriff's desk, basically.
All right. Anybody else want a specific spot that they want to sit at?
Fiona will sit right next to Alex.
Charles Argo will remain standing.
Okay, what about Xiao Yu? What do you want to do?
Xiao Yu also remains standing in a self-disciplined way.
Okay. Over by the door or kind of up against the wall, or where do you want to stand?
It would be as far in that, probably if it's probably a quarter in.
Okay. That way she can just see everybody, and it's like she can.
If it's 20 feet, I'm 5 feet.
Okay. Her office, it's as far as the size of her office before, you can see it's a main opening, and then there's a hallway that goes back so far, and then you can see down that hallway is another door, an iron door with a large lock on it, which you guys figure that's where the jail cells are. And there are things that are put up all over the walls that have wanted posters for various people that you can see. Some of them have been X'd out for people that have either been killed or what have you. So there's some that are there that haven't been. Her desk has various paperwork. She has a wood stove that's off to the side of her desk with a large pot of coffee on it, and this rack that sits off to the side of it that she's got full of wood. And her pistols are sitting right up on top of her desk. and her rifle's kind of leaned up against the side there. And she goes, I'm glad that you guys were able to come over. I didn't like to have to go and deal with the situation the way I did over there at the Bell Union. But goddamn it, some of these people in this town are nothing but fucking knuckleheads. And she goes, being the only law in this town and being a woman to boot, half the time these fuckers think they can get over on me, but they find out pretty damn quick that they can't. She goes, but sometimes even that situation changes. And when she says that, she kind of sits down, kind of leans back and just scratches her head and kind of tips her hat for a minute. And she's just like, oh, boy, you don't know what it's like being out here in this country. It can wear on a person after a while. I've been here 30 years since this thing was starting to get started, when it was just a cow pasture and a couple of these boys up in the mountains trying to get themselves a little bit rich. Now it's grown, and I think it's going to get bigger. And it's starting to weigh on me for a little bit, and she's got this kind of, she's haggard looking, but she has a strength about her. But in that moment when she says that, she kind of has a little bit of a fearful look on her face. But it's nothing that's like, it's noticeable for a second, and then it goes away. And she goes, so as far as you boys being here in town, I've seen you off and on in various places and around town. So as far as trying to get your fortunes and make a little something out here, what has been going on for you? How have your prospects been since you've made it here to Deadwood?
Well, Miss Sheriff, much like my prospects anywhere, I kind of just follow the money. If something pops up, I take it. Nothing's popped too much up yet. And to be fair, I only specialize in certain types of jobs. You know, I ain't no fucking cow wrangler or nothing. If you need a job that requires a bullet to a head, I'm your man. It's been a little bit, you know, after the war, I don't got much other things to do, so this is my type of territory. I've been out here for a while now.
What about you other fellas?
Say that again, please.
What about you other fellas? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
I don't think anyone is
willing to step forward.
Well, come on. That's what you get. You role play. That's one thing that I reward if you don't role play. You never know.
Well, to be honest with you, Marshall, different voice. That's right. I've been here. I've lost the accent. That's fine. I've been here I come from back east. I'm trying to sell my weapon, and the only thing I've managed to get is constipated. I'm stressed beyond all belief. Are you going to pay me to go somewhere else?
Can you hear me?
So, yeah. Charles just like in the distance, blah, blah. We can't hear you. But if you're going to pay me to go somewhere else in the frontier, I will sign up.
And she goes, well, the reason why I'm asking you guys these questions is because there's a situation that has come up that I can't necessarily deal with all by myself. There's a lot of these men here in this town that are just too pussyfoot to do anything other than care about their own sorry hide, when I'm the one that's basically by myself keeping them upright and out of Boot Hill. But there's a situation that pertains to me that I don't want to recruit anybody that ain't willing to take some risks. But if you take the risk, you're going to get definitely some reward and maybe some standing in this area. and a little bit of prestige, and you keep yourself alive, and you'll definitely help remedy my situation.
So,
But if you're
Christoph,
if you're feared for your own hide, this may not be the situation that's right for you fellas.
Christoph,
Well-
speak up. Ma'am, not really sure. I should be here. I was at the Belly Union. Wasn't doing much fighting myself, but I got here about 24 hours ago. I've been trying to word and well, like you said, people around here ain't much for talking. It's been a little tough, and all I want to do is God wants me to do. And if what you need done in the eyes of God is a thing that should be done, I will happily give myself for the cause.
All right, hold on just for a minute. We're going to deal with Noah. Noah, can you hear us?
So we just heard you, buddy.
Barely.
Yeah, say something, Noah.
Yeah, his internet.
Okay, well, whenever go ahead and keep trying to get back in and out, then we'll hear you once you get back on successfully. And she goes, before I go to roping anybody into my situation, I've got to kind of, you can hear us. Okay, well, once you get your stuff figured out and situated, say a couple sentences so that we can all get a chance to try and hear you and see what's going on. All right, she goes, I've been here for many, many years. And as a young girl, I had to deal with some things. I had to deal with an abusive father and some brothers that just weren't right in the head. But I was a good girl. I never took shit off of nobody. I was a law-abiding woman. And I did the things that I could. I had me a man many years ago, but he left me. I went on about my way, and I made my life as a law woman. And I got really good at it. And I was sent here to assist the former sheriff of these here parts. And, well, let's just say that whenever I got here to Deadwood, it was, like I said, fledgling, getting started. And the law that was here was probably just as bad as the varmints that came here on the first place. And I tried to learn the ways. The territorial marshal came out and tried to get me situated in. And this old boy that was here before me, he was an evil critter. He would be one way in front of the territorial marshal, and then as soon as he would leave, it would just be lawless as all get out. And I didn't like that. And he just kept trying to turn me from something that I ain't. And one day, I was gone, had been gone for several weeks, and I came back, and I found my place ransacked, things overturned, some things that were precious and dear to me from my childhood and my family were missing. And I came back to the office, and I found that the sheriff that was here before me was drunk as a skunk. And his name was William Blackstar. And I kind of confronted him and I said, "What the hell are you doing?" And he goes, "Woman, you should just grab all your stuff, pack it up, get your hair done at the fucking barber shop, and get on out of Deadwood, 'cause don't nobody want you here. This is our town. I'm the law, and whenever the territorial marshal comes around, I know how to play the game. You know, this place is going to get big one day, and I'm going to reap all the benefits." And I said, So basically, you're no better off than any of these other sods that come in here thinking that they're going to get rich from the gold, silver, and whatever else. And he goes, damn right, they're paying me. How do you think things have been so quiet the entire time you've been here? Because they know that to keep themselves alive, and to keep me looking on the up and up, well, one way or another, they grease my palm and I take care of them. I make a little bit of money. And she goes, a little bit of money? You probably got a lot of money. And he goes, well, you don't necessarily know how much I got, and you never will. And she goes, that's it. You are a menace to society. And she goes, I'm going to deal with you in the only way I know how. Bart's Blackstar, you got to come out into the street. And they went out into the street. And when he went out into the street, the people that were there, some were laughing and thinking, well, what the hell is this woman going to do? She's going to end up dead and end up there in the cemetery. Other people were scared. Some hid and looked out various windows and places in the camp and just, what was going to happen next. And as the sun was just starting to set, there was just enough light for them to have their duel. And Katie herself had been practicing all her life. She'd been shooting since she was 4 years old. Her daddy took her out to shoot rifle, took her out to shoot whatever. She was an expert hunter. She was always helping take care of her family when her dad was too drunk to do the job himself. And her mama was just so genteel and didn't have any ways about her that, basically for the most part, in her younger years, Katie was the one that took care of everything. So she wasn't no slouch when it came to being on the draw. But this old boy didn't know this. He just thought that he had it dead to rights. That this Deadwood was going to be his, and there wouldn't be nothing nobody could do about it. And that his heart, the whole time he was there, was just as black as pitch. But he knew how to play that game. He knew how to fake out whoever and whatever was coming. He goes, if the president himself came here to Deadwood, I'd give him a 5-star parade and he wouldn't know the difference. So they're out in the middle of the street, and they have one of the townsfolk make the call to draw. And in that instant, she didn't just draw. She fanned the hammer on him and put 6 bullets all through his heart. He fell into the middle of the street, dead right off the bat. People were in awe at how good that she just took him straight out. It was over with. He was finished. But then again, there were those that were going, just kind of looking at that were there that weren't necessarily the better elements of Deadwood itself, going, so this is the one we're going to have to take out one way or another. So over the years, she's gotten people that she's kind of, gotten over on the wrong side with. She goes, I killed him 25 years ago to the day. But before you fellas had made it here into town, over the last month or two, there have been times in the dead of night when I've been asleep in my bunk, visions would come to me of Blackstar standing in Main Street, deader than a doornail, looking grisly and deformed and ugly and fearsome. Well, about the time that I started to have those dreams and seeing him after all these years, I thought I was done with him. Things started to change here in these parts. The people and the situations started to get a little bit more grim, a little bit more dour. Not so boisterous at times as it had been. Just because of the fact that I knew how to keep people in line, so you could kind of rest assured that you could do your business in town and not have to worry about, watching your back for the most part. Then about 2 weeks before you fellas got here, I don't know if you noticed it, but directly above this town in this part of the territory, There's no uh, uh, stars in the sky at all, except for what you see on the outer rim. And you got to have some good sight to see that. And then it just seems like at various times, sometimes the mists will start to come up from various parts and places outside of Deadwood, out from where some of the mines are, some of the plateaus and buttes and hills and mountains, and sometimes even from the cemetery itself, you'll see bits of purple and green mist. And I've had women folk come to me telling me that their sons and daughters have woke up in the middle of the night having bad dreams. But the thing about it is, for me, my dreams are a little bit more real. And in them dreams, Blackstar has said to me after that fight, he goes, "You put me down once, but little lady, I'm coming for you. And all the signs of my coming are going to be there for you to see. And when I come, I'm bringing hell with me. And I'm going to take you and all of Deadwood down with me." Well, you can just about think a woman, regardless of who she is, whether she's a sheriff or a slut, is going to figure with those kind of dreams and that kind of confrontation that this fella is not playing around. And I know that I'm just one person. I can't do this all by myself. And I just think that the signs are starting to come together where he's going to come back some way, somehow, to just mess things up for what's been going on here. I don't want to stay here forever. I want to move up in the world. I want to move to better places. But before I do, I want to make sure that Deadwood has a chance to get out of being something dirty and nasty and cruddy into being something that's worthy of the territory and worthy of people coming here to do what they do, whether it's mining or whoring. So the reason why I asked you to come over here is I'm going to need some people to have my back over the coming weeks, months, who knows how long. But I also want somebody that doesn't necessarily have ties to family or situations that would hold them back from being in my corner. I want to hire you fellas as kind of a posse to help kind of keep things above board here in town. But also for these things that are coming, and I know that they are, I want y'all to have my back if you think you can. And she picks up her coffee cup and takes a big long pull off of a hot draw off of it and sets it down and looks at you and she goes, "Do you fellas think you can?" And she looks over at you. What do you guys say?
Well, miss, that's a hell of a story. Maybe a bit too long if you ask me. But as long as you pay, I ain't got a problem with it. Though, I do have to ask, how much you paying?
Well, she kind of looks over you with a little bit of a crooked eye. She goes, "Well, regardless of the length of my story, sir, if you want to know how much you're going to be getting paid, $100 a month, plus room at either the Bella Union or the Grand Hotel. Or for those that want to camp outside of town in their own way, in their own space, I ain't going to stop you there." And then once things are kind of leveled out and stuff, if you want to mosey your own way out of Deadwood, there could be some bonuses for it, you know. But you take care of me, I'll take care of you. So you're gonna have free room on board at any of the established hotels here in town, plus $100 a month.
Well, can't argue with that, I guess. I'm in.
Wait. So there's a dead guy, and You're having dreams about said dead guy coming back. And we're supposed to be a posse to help you fight a dead guy.
I've seen it before. Happened a lot during the war.
I'm sure you've just seen people who are just unwell. Surely the dead do not want. That would defy it.
Alec, you see Alec, sort of like this, again, he has a kind of don't care kind of look, instantly changes as soon as you said that, looks dead into your soul and goes, I've seen it, sir. Don't you dare question what I've seen. I've seen the dead come back. It's possible. It don't happen often, and sometimes they don't always come back the same, but I've seen them come back. And then it just kind of goes back, kind of not caring. So.
Argwal takes a minute to process what was. All right. I believe that you believe the dead have come back. I'll meet you there.
When would you need an answer by?
And she looks at you and she's listening to everything that you guys are saying. She goes, I'd prefer an answer now. I need to know who's going to have my back and who's not. And if you don't have my back, I'm going to find somebody who does. Whether you think I'm touched in the head or plumb loco crazy, that don't matter to me none. I've dealt with this area, this part of the country for almost 30 years now, and I had to deal with that. I had to deal with Blackstar, but with these occurrences that have been going on around here, with the stars not showing over with the stars not showing over Deadwood, the attitudes of the people, and the mists and things that have been coming through at various evenings in the last few weeks, I kind of not look at it and say that some of it is not connected in some way. And I'm one of those people that believes if there's heaven, there's also hell. And when somebody tells me in a dream that they're going to come back and take me to hell, I take that seriously.
I understand. I certainly don't mean to come off as rude, nor do I believe that you're, as you say, touched in the head. The Lord works in mysterious ways, but so does the devil. I will pray on it this evening, and you will have my answer by 7.
Do we get a badge with this? So it's like a legal protection sort.
Ooh, I would also like a badge.
Yes, you get a badge. And she goes, hold on.
Like to become honorary deputies, I think that is only fitting if we are here to protect the sheriff.
And she goes, hold on just a minute. And she bends down and she opens up a drawer right next to her desk. And she kind of looking up at you for a minute. She's doing some stuff. And she reaches off to the side and she grabs a rubber band. She's doing something. And she goes, here. And she chucks a stack of bills that's wrapped in a rubber band that equals out to half a month up front for each one of you. So everybody that can hear me, and I hope Noah can hear me, so everybody that's here in this posse right now, you get $50 to put into your cash, what you have on you personally. And at the end of the month, and as far as time-wise, considering the holidays, we'll say that this is January, February, March, April. We'll say that this is the beginning of April. Just when that spring is starting to come in, but there's enough shitty rain, possibilities of snow, so you're starting to get into that just before spring does its full-on thing. So this is April, and right now you're within like a couple days. Within the first week, this is like April 7th or 8th. And she's already given you a half a month right off the bat. And then as time goes by, which I will keep track of time, days and stuff throughout this, you'll get your next 50. And then what I'll do is actually you'll get 150 because I'll pay you for the rest of the month. That's 50. And then you'll get $100 on the start of every month that you're with her in game time.
How long do we how long will we be in service in this contract?
Well, to be honest, I don't know time wise. Things are changing and they're getting a little bit unusual here. It could be a month, it could be a couple months, it could be quite a while, or until I'm dead, you're dead, the town is gone. Who knows? I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out, but also I'm trying to figure this out in a way that it doesn't necessarily alert things that are going on outside the territory, such as if you guys are here when the territorial marshal comes around, we're going to just act like everything is hunky-dory. Because bringing things in here that are with the government, I haven't never been much of a fan of the government. And I only deal with what I got to because the territorial marshal is my boss. But I just want to do things because a lot of times they fuck up more than they help. And I think somebody that I can have a little bit more of a trust on with you fellas than letting them bring in somebody that I don't fucking know from a hole in the ground. So that's why, and the way you guys handled yourself earlier today there at the Bella Union, you had a little bit more, a bit of a head on your shoulders than most anybody else that I've seen. So that's why I've extended this to you guys in the first place.
Well, I mean, if you're going to pay me to be here, yes, I'll take this. Just ghosts, right? And then try at Fiona with this nervous sort of smile.
Okay.
Right back though.
Okay, standing over there, Christoph and Xiao Yu, what do you guys think of what she just said?
I'm certainly curious. If there's a man returning from the dead to enact revenge, certainly something he's concerned about. But he does intend to pray earnestly throughout the evening to make sure that doing this is what God has planned for him.
Okay. And you're standing over there off to the side. Everybody else is sitting in their chairs. What do you think, Xiao Yu?
I bow and tell her I accept.
And she nods and she goes, "Thank you." She kind of has to deal with the people in Chinese Alley and stuff, and it's like she isn't saying this to you, but just giving you the background. A lot of people that aren't necessarily naturally born here in the country are as accepting of Chinese and other people and stuff.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
And it's like, so she's very deferential. She's like, I know what's up with these people, and she gives a little bit more respect than anybody else would. So that's why she gives you that nod, like you're gonna get nothing but a good thumbs up from me, because a lot of people treat the Chinese in the camp like dirt or less than human, and she don't play that game. If she sees that kind of injustice or that kind of intolerance, she'll just as soon crack a head of the one who's pulling the shit than look at them. So she's very in tune with people that are a little bit outside the norm of what you would see in just a crusty old camp the way that this thing is. She goes, by the way, do any of y'all have any family or kinfolk or friends that you know that are in this territory?
I used to.
All my folks are back east, so that's a no on me.
Oh, my folks are dead.
God, no. Ooh.
My pops is out in Desiree, so.
Well, the reason why I'm asking you hombres that is because I know that this is something that's very, very dangerous, and I just want to make sure that whatever happens at the end of this situation, that I honor anything that you have to do with your family. If we end up planting you, that we get you back to where you're supposed to go, or if you end up on our very own boot hill, I don't want to do anything that disrespects your situation, so that's why I asked in the first place. And while she's doing that,
Well, that's my kind of you.
for those that accepted, she reaches down into this other little drawer and she pulls out. They're not overly shiny, but they're not really dull. They are deputy badges, and she goes and she hands them out to those of you that said yes, and those that didn't. She goes,
It's actually up.
"What's that?" 4.
Charles is like putting his hand up in the air slowly and slowly.
It's not a classroom, Mr. Charles.
Well, I had a question, and I'm just.
What's your question there, sir, Mister?
Well, I mean, I've never went to school for law, but I believe. Am I mistaken in thinking that the duel that you and the other sheriff had is actually illegal? And I'm just wondering, you pumped 6 shots into him with this nightmare, and I'm not, a doctor, but would this nightmare that you're having not be something guilty conscience coming up and manifesting itself in some?
Now, Mr. Charles, I've plenty of things I ain't proud of, and I've had the type of dreams that you're talking about, real bad shit, and what you're talking about ain't anything like what I have. So,
Did everyone go quiet?
And as far as that goes, she goes, "It does sound far-fetched. I get that. And it's not a guilty conscience. And there are people that are still here today that have seen what happened on that night. And it's not anything that I'm proud of. Yeah, it was probably illegal, but, you got to do what you got to do to maintain something of a semblance of law. And he wasn't no law. He just wasn't. And I knew it. And I had to do something. But as far as these dreams, like I say, it's too much. It's too much of a circumstance for what's been going on along with them for the last couple of weeks. And unless I got some bewitchery that I don't know nothing about, with the stars being gone and all this mist that comes through the town in these various nights, and the demeanor of the people just changing all of a sudden, that's fucking real, Mister. I don't know what you know, but the dreams in my head and something. And he's told me in them dreams that he's coming back. And like my daddy used to say when I was younger, you got to be prepared, because you never know what's going to happen next. There's going to be somebody that's going to come up behind you, and if they get the drop on you, it's done for. And I don't want nobody to get the drop on me, but I can't do this by myself. That's why I asked for you fellas here to help me, and to those who have committed so far, I appreciate that. It's not necessarily saying I'm putting this into a suicide mission, but then again, is like over the time that you guys are here, things are going to get better, I'm hoping. And if it doesn't, I'm going to end up there on Boot Hill myself. Well, I'm telling you what, I'm not going to let that sorry son of a bitch be the one to put me into it. Okay, and you're putting up your hand. What's your question?
No, again, it's Charles putting up his hand. So if you're prompting Charles to speak, then Charles will ask his question.
What's your question?
I've heard a lot of people say Boot Hill.
It means the boneyard, the graveyard.
The graveyard, Boot.
Yeah.
Things are definitely done differently out on this side of the world, aren't they?
Got that right, Tin Horn.
Well, if you're paying us to watch your back against ghosts, I suppose I will. He picks up the badge and he puts it on his poofy shirt. I guess I'll aid you as best I can. Yes, it seems. Now, does this actually come with law?
And she goes, when you say that, when you ask her, does this come with law? She goes, now you know the difference between right and wrong. The only thing that would dissuade you from continuing on with this job is if you go off and kill somebody. on your own with your own self without it being a case of self-defense. What I'm saying is don't be murdering nobody in my town. You know the difference between right and wrong. But then again,
Maybe Mr. John Doe's gonna have to leave.
and everybody else that's in this town, if you see something acting up that ain't right, you take care of it the best way you can, and your fellows here will help you. And if they can't help you, just come and get me, and I'll deal with it with you. But we're going to try to keep everything above board as possible because I don't need the other people in this town that I know are fairly law abiding. I don't want them getting overly hyperactivated and setting things off because all it takes is one cow to start a stampede, and I don't want this town getting out of whack.
You got it, man.
I want things to be as above board as possible. It may, there's going to be days where it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to be appreciative for that. And as a matter of fact, for everybody that has said that they would, the next session that we get together, which unfortunately, because I got stuff coming up for the holidays after this game, that's why we're doing this game tonight. We won't be back to do this again until after January 1st, whatever the first Saturday is after that. But I'm going to make a little note for this. For everybody that's a deputy like this, because of the fact that you are helping to kind of keep the law and stuff in town a little bit above board, for those that start with 3, you're going to start with 4 bennies. And the one that was starting with the 1 less, you're going to gain 1 more. So everybody's going to get more bennies at the beginning of the next session. And
cool.
And right now, you guys have got your money. And as far as like I said, you guys can have your residence, either at the Bell Union because there's rooms there. Then you got the Grand Hotel. And if, because I don't know where you could be staying out in your own camps in different spots around town, but you can come into town, and all you got to do is tell them that Katie Carl got you guys set up on the deputy side of things, and you'll get 3 hots and a little room for yourself and a little bit of respect. Because I know I'm gonna treat you as good as I can, and I know there's people that will give you as much deference, but I'm gonna tell you there's some ornery assholes in this town, and when they start to cutting up, don't be afraid to take them down to size, because I may not be there to be with you and settle the score with them, but if you show them that you have my backing and don't back up from anything that you can handle, they're gonna know that you have my blessing to take care of business, like the way I took care of that boy back at the Bell Union just a little bit ago. And to the fella that shot that guy with his rifle, sir, could you do me a favor? Don't be shooting people with your rifle in town. If you can, if you've got a sidearm, keep that hog iron for stuff outside, unless it comes down to it where you just are loaded up against rifles. But man, I looked at his leg and it just looked like a bunch of torn up hog meat just laying there with that old fat blubbered belly of his. She was just like, it just made her do one of those. When she says that, she does like a woman would do whenever they think of something icky. That's the first time you've ever seen her act like a woman, thinking of what she saw after you rifled dude in the leg and left him laying there out on the fucking floor. Because it rolled him back. It got that off of him, and where the rest of his, it had, I'd say the chunk was probably about 3-4 inches. So it looked pretty fucking nasty.
Ooh, that is a nasty hit.
Yeah, I mean,
that is.
It's a 50 caliber rifle.
That's a rifle,
so.
So.
Oh, he's lucky he still has the leg.
Yeah, that guy is
Imagine
currently
what
at
you
the
could have
dock.
done
We
with
don't
my
know what's happening with
flame-inducing
him, but
revolver.
and anything that you guys need over time, just let me know. Now, if it's something a little bit exotic, we can try and get you some stuff at the various stores and shops here in town. And just for that, while you're in town, or anywhere that's in the territory outside of Deadwood that she is sheriff of. If you come upon somebody that's selling something that's kind of attached to Deadwood itself, you guys get a functional. Oh fuck it, let's go 25% off. So a rifle that's $100, you're going to get it for 75, or some other weapon or other gear that you guys might
Oh wow,
want.
she's really sweetening the deal here.
Well, it's like it's like you're either gonna get paid good, because one of two things is gonna happen by the end of this situation. You're either gonna be dead or you're not gonna be dead, and so you kind of got to make it where the people that you're hiring are gonna want to have your back, instead of like, well, fuck it, I could be dead after I leave this office in a half an hour. So why would I want to do that? That's why you sweeten up the deal, and that's why she's sweetening up the deal, because right now she's just doing everything she can to kind of keep things going, because she has to keep her sanity going. And as the clock is ticking, because she doesn't know, she kind of knows, but she doesn't know when the territorial marshal is going to be coming around. And just a little side note, he's a little bit of a stuffy. He's a tough dude, just as tough as she is, but he's very stuffy. He's from the East himself, which you guys will end up knowing. This is just a little bit of a side note. So it's like she's wanting people that she know is going to have her back down to, pushing up daisies.
Well, all right, sounds good, Sheriff. Sorry for blasting the dude's leg nearly clean off. He may not be. I don't think he'll be walking though. That's for sure. At least not for a while. Yeah, I got a piece on me. I got a side, not that kind of side piece. The side iron.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
just as a schematics for me, so I can know. Now that you guys know that you have the opportunity to stay at either the Grand Hotel or at the Bella Union, are you guys gonna split up between the two, or are you guys gonna try to get rooms and kind of like be all in kind of like a barrack situation, so y'all know where each other's at pretty much all the time? That's up to you.
What do you guys think?
Alex just kind of like will choose whatever he feels like at the end of the night, so he doesn't really give us too much of a shit right now.
Charles is actually really fine with the room that he has at the Bella Union.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm fine with the I have at the Bell Union as well.
Alex will probably then go to like the hotel.
Yeah.
Xiao Yu, where are you wanting to be?
It doesn't matter.
I'm not putting up my hand. I'm straight.
Because you are kind of an outlier, and there is Chinese Alley. Do you want to because when you came into town, you had seen people that were your nationality, and there is I'll point right here. I can get the right over here is a couple that allow you to throw a bedroll on their kind of back porch area. Now you can either stay with your own people, or to kind of be available for the stuff, you can either stay at the Bella Union. The difference between the Bella Union and the Grand Central, the Bella Union is a lot more rowdy, like you guys experienced earlier. But it being more rowdy, it has a lot more people in it. And the Grand Central is a little bit more subdued, nicer, but it can get just as bad as the Bella Union, especially when a lot of people flood into town. Whether it's the season finally opens up where people can make it completely across all of the mountain areas. It's like the weather breaks enough, the whole town is so packed. It's like kids going to spring break in Florida. But it just depends on what environment as who you are. I don't necessarily give up too much of what your guy is, but that kind of where you feel comfortable the most.
Probably the Bella Union.
Okay, cool. Because in that way you can kind of be in the mix of seeing what it's like, having eyes on the situation at the same time as everybody else. Okay, she goes, and how many?
Yeah, that's why I chose the Bell Union as well.
Now we've got one that I know of that was going to. Don't we have two? That was it. Fiona and Christoph that said that they would give the answer in the morning.
No,
Yes.
I'm agreeing.
Okay.
I think it's only Christoph because he's got to go give God a
I'm
little
gonna pray about it.
knocking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody except for Christoph. Okay. So she goes, I've got some things that I need to do. If y'all have any more questions, feel free. And she goes, as she stands up and kind of situates her hat a little bit and moving some papers and stuff on her desk and things, she gets ready to grab her duster. She goes, I don't know what we're going to be getting into over this next bit of time, boys, but if it comes out to it that I made the right choice in recruiting you onto this cause, it's going to be worth it because it's going to keep me alive, and it could make this place a lot better. And she goes, and she kind of shakes her head, and she goes, because better ain't something that this place hasn't been for many, many years. And she goes, have a good night, gentlemen, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Lady.
See you, man.
All right then. All right. Well, if y'all don't have anything else to say, I'ma just go hang out at the hotel, possibly get a drink, and then hit the hay.
Yes, let's all get drunk.
So, as you guys go back, the time-wise, you look and the moon is up now, and you've noticed that the moon is light enough to light your way through the streets of town. But still, the thing that's strange though is the moon is directly in the kind of in the arc of where the lack of stars are, which seems very weird. But also that you notice because of the darkness that is, even with those parts of town that have lights and lanterns outside and fires and stuff that are lit inside inside the homes and buildings, you're noticing that coming down Main Street or coming into town from Main Street, a little bit above head, like maybe 10 or 15 feet above head view, is a thin, rancid looking, it looks like this large cloud of mist. It's a very greenish, roiling looking kind of thing that is it's slowly making its move. The rate of movement is probably like less than a foot a minute. It's just it's slow and it's building and it's getting thick and it's starting to move kind of into town, but not right. Like basically, you guys are seeing it over, like right in here, where I'm putting the ping at.
Having been here for about a week, have we seen this before?
At this particular junction in town, no, you haven't. You have seen it like like you might have been in a building and looking out the window and looking out the back window. So you might have seen it in this little rock wall that kind of surrounds town. If you've been over in like this area, you've seen it, and it's been pocketed. It's just like rolling little spots that'll come up and last for 5 or 10 minutes. You'll look at it 1 minute, you'll go back to what you're doing, and then when you look away, it's gone. This one here, though, that you're looking is wider. As far as the width, if you're looking from the top of the map to down where your guys' avatars and stuff are down here at the bottom, you would figure that it extends. Let me get the measure from. Wait, hold on. I've got to set this. Where's the measure? About like that. Pretty dang wide from there to there.
Oh.
And so everything behind it, so it's like, it's just
only 10 feet.
No. As far as what you're seeing, that road by itself is probably about 20 feet wide. This is probably about 200 feet in width so far. I'm going to delete that.
I hope you all can't see the arrows. And
Yeah, no, we can see it.
Yeah, I see
Yeah, we
all
can
of it.
see it.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And as far
Just wanted to measure it out. No big deal.
and also ahead of that, there's kind of a smell of like decay. Very, very, very thin. Nothing that's like makes you want to throw up or whatever, but it's just this very thin, veiled smell of like you've been in a funeral home, or you've been in a fight and you've had to bury a body, and after you killed someone. It's just this the initial. It's like it's so nasty and stinky, but this is like something. It smells like decay that's very, very, very old. And it's embedded in this green mist fog stuff that seems to be getting ready to just like make its way across the entirety of the upper echelons and buildings and just everything over, in town in general. Time wise, it is about, well, with her, you're probably talking about 7 o'clock, 7:15. And there are more people that are going in and out of the Grand Hotel. There are more people that are coming in and out of the Bella Union. You can hear the piano player is just playing away. So the bartender is probably pretty happy now that more people have come in and come from out of town to come in for the evening, get a dinner, play some poker, get on with the ladies of the evening, and just do their thing. So things are kind of in full swing right now, and the streets are not necessarily empty, but it's not overly busy like it was just shortly before you went to the sheriff's office.
Well then, sorry, not Cracker. I'm gonna keep calling Alex that because they're so similar characters. Alex is gonna go. Alex is gonna go to the bar. If you're wondering, Cracker's my Shadowrun character. He's also a cowboy, so it's gonna be very hard to do. The only difference is that Alex is from the north and Cracker's from the south. So that's the only way I'm gonna at least be able to tell them apart.
Okay.
Alex is just gonna go to a table.
Okay.
And just
so the rest
order a drink.
Are the rest of you fellows going to go into the Bella
sad.
Union too? Get a bite to eat and just ride out the rest of the evening, see what's going on? Okay. So you go in there, you guys get a table. They've got one large table in there that'll seat you guys. And the bartender goes, "Oh, I see you come back from the sheriff's office. Hope everything went okay. What can I do for you fellas?"
For me, just some dinner, some din-dins, and a whiskey, please. The bottle, if you have it.
All right. And he goes, "Oh, okay, yeah." And he goes, "I'll be right back." And he goes, I hope, and just before he turns, he goes, "I hope you do the sheriff right. She's taken care of this town for a long time." And he kind of gives you a little bit of a smile, like at least, because he kind of figures that, you guys are probably good fellas. And he comes back, and he's got 2 bottles of whiskey, one for you and one for the rest of you guys to share if you want. And for you, he sets dinner right down in front of you, and you got this slab of beef that's about the size of 2 or 3 decks of cards stuck in the end. These big red potatoes with this big sopping gravy, and 2 fat hunks of fresh bread with a little crock off to the side of what looks to be fairly fresh churned up butter. He goes,
Making me hungry.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all for the Wild West. The Weird West, I guess I should say. Cracker will just kind of... God damn it, I'm going to keep calling him that. Alex will... Seriously, I'm going to keep calling him that. And then I'm going to be back in Shadowrun playing a Cracker, and I'm going to call And then I'm gonna be in D&D calling my character. It's gonna be all whatever. Anyways, Alex, he's
You're
just
the wrong neighborhood, clacker.
I know it's gonna be like Clacker Russell. It's like, well, fuck, that's like all the different names. Anyways, Alex is gonna like just kind of tip his hat and nod to the guy,
And just as he gets
kinda,
ready to
you know,
turn,
kind of his way of
just as long as he gets ready to turn and go back to the bar, he looks over at Charles the second. He goes, "And sir, you left a mess with our chair out there on the side of the alley there. When you get ready to go to bed tonight, could you go out there and clean up your mess? I'd really appreciate it."
He also still owes you 50 cents.
Nah.
No, he doesn't.
And the girls that were there earlier, you see
Your
them.
man.
God. You know what? As he holds up his which he's been, I guess I'm gonna say, because it's been a while, right? A couple drinks, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I believe. And he flicks off whatever change it is. What, 50 cents? You said?
Yeah, for the chair.
Yeah. Wait, was that not already paid for?
Yeah, it was paid.
Yeah,
Well,
Alex paid
he's
for
not
it.
asking for the money. He's asking you to clean up all the embers and shit that got exploded when you shot.
Fiona pockets the 50 cents.
Oh, wouldn't the wind and the rain do that for us?
It had finished raining by the time you guys got out there. Remember?
I mean, I wouldn't probably go out there. I mean, I built the gun, but I mean, I've never. It's not like test. I guess I wouldn't touch it. That's dangerous. You really gonna ask me to risk my life out there? Deal with that.
I'll watch your back for you.
Couldn't we just pay some?
Are you gonna go? Are you
go clean that?
What if we just pay someone to do?
Do you want to throw your money around? Go for it. That's up to you.
Throw your money around. Do like it's your dick.
Charles is gonna look around in the room and like try and look for like a gambler who's down on his.
And because and on the back of the Bella Union, like a lot of the buildings, they have their dump house for some of the refuse, poop from the chamber pots and stuff that are up in the various rooms and stuff. And then they have another spot where they throw out their food slop that they take to the farm, the livestock people that have animals and stuff outside of town, because there are farmers that raise pigs, cattle, and stuff to feed these guys here that are a little bit further ways out into the territory. So they save that stuff. So there's kind of like a shed that's out and back there where they put all their trash. So like, okay, Bella Union. So like, say it's like right over. Okay, I've got to get off of that for a minute. Okay, it's like, come here, you. It's not letting me get off of the. I'm trying to use the. Yeah, right over in that area. It's not letting me do the ping because when I went to do the draw, it's not letting. I think Roll20's got so many people on it right now that it's kind of glitching because everything on the bar side on the left is being very picky right now. But in that, yeah, right over in that area, it's kind of attached to the side, and there's a door that you can open, kind of like a pig door, only just so high, just tall enough for about a 5-foot man to open up and go into one part, put the slop and stuff in, and then the other one is like a latrine that's dug deep, way down, and that's where they dump the shit and everything from all the chamber pots and stuff above. And as far as light, you've got light on each one of these edges. Every building has lights that are inside, and then they're kind of hung out. So viewable, it's dark in spots, but there's a lot more that is lit up than not lit up. It's like contrasted light and dark because of the way the buildings are lit up. But you can pay somebody, or you can go out there yourself. It's going to take you just 2 seconds to grab all that stuff up in your arm, the stuff that's disintegrated, torn up, the legs and the seat itself, and you just grab them in your arms and open that little door and chuck it in there.
Yeah, so Charles is still gonna look for a gambler who's down on who is losing money, maybe lost his money, looking to play, someone who's got a strong gambling addiction. Does Charles see anyone like that?
There's all kinds of people. You see people that are scrubby. You see people that are halfway dressed a little bit better than you even, but still not by much. There's all kinds of people in here. As far as people that are in here tonight, besides you fellas, you figure there's probably about 35 or 40 outside of the staff and outside of the whores.
But specifically, is there anyone there who is losing money who wants to continue because they can't?
You're going to have to get up and start walking around and see what you can. Matter of fact, before you do that, go ahead and make a notice roll for me.
Yes.
Let's see how you do on your notice roll.
It's my favorite type of roll to make. I swear to God.
Skill checks, yeah, skill checks and Savage rolls are fun.
Woo! 5.
At one of the tables that's not too far away from where you guys are sitting, there's a dude sitting there with a bowler hat, a mustache, chubby cheeked, looked like jowls, kind of looks like Porky Pig, but he's a dude, and you can tell that he's starting to sweat. He's looking at his cards like, oh God, what the fuck's going on? And he's going 2. And he sloughs off 2 cards and puts them down for the dealer. So this dude that you see sitting over there, he doesn't notice you looking at him or anything. But this dude is sitting over there, and he's basically, just possibly about to lose his ass at this game.
Probably, which I'm sorry?
About to lose this hand because he's sweating. He gave up 2 cards, and he's just like, I hope I get something good. And everybody that's sitting at the table, there's a couple of hombres that look pretty mean, but, they just not as bad as the guys that you encountered earlier. There's another guy that looks to be like somebody that's come from the east. So, and there's an old woman sitting there with them playing too.
Okay. Well, I'll stand behind the dude who's sweating, who may be losing a hand, and I'll wait for the hand to see the outcome.
All right. So they get around and they get called, and he goes, I've got a pair of 9s. And the old lady, she goes, Porky. And she goes, blam. And she throws down a hand of 3 5s. And everybody else has got, different combinations of 3 of a kind or whatever. And he goes, I've only got $15 left to my name.
What's the buy-in to this game, dealer?
He goes, $5.
$5. What's the ante?
Antes are $2.
$2. Oh, never mind. Charles is gonna go out and start cleaning up stuff.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
Fuck this
it's a little bit rich. Okay, so are you okay? Before you go out to do that, because it can only take you just like a few minutes. Are you going to go by yourself, or are you going to take somebody with you?
Oh, he's gonna go by himself.
All right. So you go outside, and these guys are in here doing their thing, and you're going, boy, this is just a weird place, blah, blah, blah. You're just thinking your thoughts and wishing somebody'd buy your gun. And you get into a spot that's further down towards the south, away from where things are drawn up here in the middle. And I want you to, as you're getting ready to go in there, to dump this stuff off, I want you to go ahead and make another notice roll for me.
You may need to repeat that.
Another notice roll.
Ooh, I think we just lost the marshal.
Can you hear me?
Lost the marsh.
Hey, the marshal's like, he's like, I'm here still. Hands coming out of the ground, just like trying to pull himself up.
Hold up.
Yeah, I think.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did you hear what I said a minute ago? I want you to do a notice roll.
Okay, I didn't hear that, but I'll do notice. How's a snake eyes? Fuck. Wait, I can use a Benny to re-roll that?
What, Benny?
I can use a white Benny to re-roll that?
Yeah.
I can use a white Benny to re-roll that?
Yeah.
No, you can only reroll one. You can only reroll one time.
Oh, really? Well, at least it's a fail and not a fucking... Wait, what if I use a blue Benny to... What if I use a blue Benny
you
to...
You can only use one Benny on a roll. You can only use one Benny.
Damn it. Okay, I'll put that back in my hand.
Two
I can't
Yeah.
put that back in my hand. Take card. Never mind.
Yeah, one
Okay,
Benny
we're
per
good.
roll. I
Yes.
thought you were trying to use 2 white bennies. Okay. Okay.
You just failed on a critical fail.
Yay!
On a critical fail. Okay.
So that's the sky. Huh. That's cool. That's the sky. It is the sky. I like the sky.
As you are
Huh.
making your way to this door to take this stuff that you picked up out of the little bits of muck and whatever from out here in the alley where you shot your weapon a little earlier, you've got your arms full, and as you go to kind of like you're trying to grab the door handle to get ready to pull it open, and you're looking up. It's a little bit dark it's dark into the doorway, and it's light behind you. And what you see now as you're opening the door, you see what looks to be something that looks like 2 cowboys coming towards you, and they are dressed in tattered, disheveled, just rotten, nasty looking clothes. Their hats that you can see are just torn up, and they look really gross. And these guys have skeletal faces
I won't.
with green eyes.
Do you want to run back inside and get me?
Oh, I was just going to ask, does this require a fear check? Fear check?
Yeah, you go ahead and make one. And the
Boo!
and the okay, and the fear.
Boo! -1! Oh, wait.
Wait, wild die. Boy.
It seems that you fellows seem a little worse for wear. Nonchalantly not acknowledging even the green eye, as Charles Argwell doesn't believe that this sort of stuff exists, but you sure seem ill, and I've had a drink, and you guys seem worse for wear. Would you like to come inside?
Yeah, and as far as distance,
you-
before you get to thinking out the rest of your thought, as far as from where you're standing and how far they are about 15 feet away, which is still good enough for you to see them fairly detailed. But as you make your spirit roll, it's like this because you made it. It's like you're kind of the drinks that you've been drinking kind of go to the back of your head for just a minute, and you kind of shake it like I gotta be out of my mind here. It's just too much booze. And when you do that, you're kind of still trying to grab the door and throw that shit and get out of there. And when you look down at the door handle and back up within that split second, those 2 hombres that you've seen coming towards you, poof, into in like a fetid smelling greenish mist, kind of like the mist that you saw, which is still coming into town, by the way, but it's rolling very slowly out there. But it's just like, yeah, 1 minute they're there, 1 second, however many seconds, minutes, whatever, within the time slot that you're out there. It's like you've seen them, and then they're gone. And you notice from where that they disappeared from, you're just looking, and they didn't leave any footprints.
That's all. Peculiar. I should probably stop drinking tonight, and I'm gonna shrug it off and
So you ended up going in there, putting stuff, throwing
I'll
it
be
in
right
the little,
back up to me.
yeah, throwing it in the deal.
Sorry.
Cool. Go ahead. You can go do what you got to do. So he's outside taking care of this. What are you guys doing inside the Bella Union?
I was just kind of looking at everybody at the table, looking at all the people. He kind of gets Noah's, or he kind of gets John's general vibe. He kind of understands what, like he's trying to get, as he puts it, just trying to understand like what they're about. He kind of looks at Christopher, and he kind of like knows like typical Mormon stuff, Christian, blah yada yada. Fiona, he's a little bit interested, but understands possibly why she's here. But he looks at Xiao Yi, and he kind of already knows, the snake oil salesman out back. But he kind of looks at Xiao Yu, and he just doesn't He's like, so Xiao Yu, was it? Right? That was your name. Pardon me if I butcher it.
You're good.
If I may ask, what's your reason for coming to this country? The journey across the ocean, I imagine, ain't exactly peachy.
It was very long, tedious, but it was manageable.
Why? Why would you come across the entire length of the ocean, especially not, most down on the coast, I'd understand, but here, this far inland is a little bit strange, if you don't mind me prodding. What's your reason for being here?
Is this not where the gold is?
It is where the gold is. It's where the ghost rock is as well. I don't know. Maybe it's just my bad. Maybe it's just my roots. I don't know. Maybe I just got a feeling, It's you kind of have to have a feeling about these things. And I ain't that old, John. Only 35.
And while you guys are having this conversation, what's our Reverend doing? Our
Christoph?
Yeah.
Yeah, Christoph.
I would assume he's probably at the hotel after the chaos of the earlier in the day. He's probably not too keen to hang at the Bella Union. Seems like a place where chaos seems to reign.
So you're at the Grand Hotel.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the dining area eating dinner, or have you gone up to a room?
Yeah, he probably got a quick bite to eat and then went up to his room to do some praying and do some reading.
All right. Just wanted to check and see what you were doing. Matter of fact, while you're upstairs in your room praying and stuff, I want you to make a faith check for me.
All right.
You're not casting anything. I'm just wanting to check something. Okay, with that,
How's the force?
okay, you got a 4. While you're sitting there in this room, which is it's not too sparsely accoutramented, you're sitting on the edge of the bed there, and you're reading your Bible or Book of Mormon or whatever it is that you're reading, and you kind of get this nudge in your heart from the Lord, going, basically just something in your head that's going, you're a servant of God, and you kind of might want to, think about helping that lady that's the sheriff here in town. She's doing the best she can, and it's like, it's like you get this feeling that, yeah, I know, that you're scared of things, and you're new to this area, and your faith's been tested before, but it's like this is something that, as far as within the Mormon faith and things like that, it's like helping out in this situation could be the biggest test of your faith all the way through. But at the end of it, there's just something about just this little nudge from the Lord that says this is something you should be a part of to help out and maybe bring some goodness into this town, and also this you got to think that this woman's doing the best that she can, so it kind of gives you this little bit of a moral thought that this is a person that you would sometimes you let a man down because dudes will do stuff and they'll backstab on each other and just we are the way they are. But this woman's been around here for years, and it's like you can just about tell that it probably took her a lot to figure out that she needed to ask for help. Like she doesn't ask for it, just out of out of the blue. So that you think that in your back of your mind you may not be able to. You don't think that you'll put too much to the helping, but then again, the Lord makes you think, well, maybe I'll be a bigger help than I think. And that's just something that kind of sits in your brain because you told her that you would tell her your answer in the morning. So that's something that kind of sits in your brain to kind of, think on before you turn in, before you blow out the lamp and give her your answer whenever you get up.
Alrighty, cool. I will plan as soon as sun starts peeking over the horizon to head back to the sheriff's office and let her know.
Okay, all right, that's fair. All right, so we've checked on our missionary Mormon friend over in the other hotel. So now Charles is back. Charles, are you going to come back? Are you going to what's your demeanor as you come back in? Are you kind of freaked out? Are you going to tell these guys anything, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, Charles is gonna come in sort of I don't want to say really freaked out, but more like he doesn't really know what had happened sort of thing, right? Like, was I speaking with people? Am I drunk? Surely I'm not really like seeing things, but am I crazy? And that's the kind of mindset that he's in right now, sort of staring off into space. I don't want to go down the road where he's like pale with chill. I guess like distracted initially, like distracted.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Does John notice this, and would he be able to comment on it?
The way that he, as far as what happened outside, you guys wouldn't know unless he told you. But you can tell as he comes in that for the initial, before when he sits down, he's not as jovial and the way he was before he went out, because he thought, oh, I'll just go out there and and pick that up and go, throw it away or do whatever. But now he looks a little bit different now than when he came in. It's like not a big difference, but you can tell something's up or was up maybe. But he ain't really saying anything when he sits down.
Something wrong, Charles?
Yeah, something on your mind?
No. Nothing. For now. Yes. And he like as I'm here, like looking off into the distance and trailing off my words, is how like Charles is responding to that, because he's still trying to in his mind what's going on. So he is moving his head around, looking around, answering these. No, I believe. Fine. Everything's fine. Yes, I've just had too much to drink is all. You know what they say, sometimes you just gotta let it all out, right? No, maybe I'll work on that out later. Yeah. Yes.
I've seen that face before. You see something you're scared of?
I've just had too much to drink. That's all. Yes. Yes.
Hey, salesman. Don't be afraid to tell. Trust me, I've seen some wild shit in my day, alright? I've seen stuff that'll make the piss their pants till they turn the color yellow. Trust me, I know there's things out there that you wouldn't believe unless you saw with your own damn eyes. And even then, sometimes we question what exactly we see. So, if
let me hit the stop button on my microwave. Sorry, 1 second.
yeah.
All right, with him stopping his thing on his microwave, I'm going to go in here and go to the bathroom. So if you guys need to go to the bathroom or get a snack or whatever, and then we'll
Take
come
care
back
of my
to it
laundry, so I'll be back.
in just a minute. I'll be right back.
Got it.
All right.
All right. Are we good? Shall I respond?
Oh, we're taking a quick break.
Excellent.
You've ruined everything, Charles.
That's
You've scared
what
away
I
our
do.
DM.
Da, 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 da. Oops. Well, I mean, like, in all fairness, I do have food now. We never really established like how long these games run, did we?
Like 6 to 10, I think, is what we originally talked about.
Yeah, and played about 4 hours.
6 to 10.
Yeah, he said 4 hours
Mountain Time.
earlier.
Did he? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. It's a long game.
So we should be wrapping up before too long.
Fair enough.
Really, that's the standard usually when I play.
Is it like when I legitimately when I run my games, I aim for 3, and like typically I have my games last for 2.5 to 3 hours, about the size of a movie.
Oh, I can do about 6 hours depending on
I used to.
what happens.
I used to
in the
do
game.
6 hours when I was looking at character sheet like this. Oh boy, these Deadlands Classic. Fuck this game, I tell you. I never like. Also, do we have to like roll with the roll 20 system? Because I've got to like the. I think roll 20 hates.
The only problem with the other options, like Fantasy Grounds, is the other big one, but you've all got to pay.
Oh fuck, fantasy round.
Yeah, like it's a really good like system to play on, and it like builds your things for you, but you've all got to pay to. It's not just like the DM pays and then everyone else can play on the DM's thing. If you want on a paying player server, you've got to pay.
Fair enough.
And I don't know any others beyond Fantasy Grounds and Roll20 really.
All right, I'm back.
I mean, I do know I've seen people play on like there are dice rolling add-ons for like Google Hangouts.
Well, I mean, like, the reason why I asked is because, I mean, like, I'd rather use these.
Well, it's I guess it's harder for the camera to see them and like for us to know you're not lying about your rolls.
Yeah, and there it is. Like, do you trust the dice rolls? Or do
Never
you?
trust the dice roll.
Never trust the player rolling the dice.
Valid.
Yeah, because, like, you never trust it. Ah, there's a 2. There's a 2. It's the same. Maybe my shit.
You do seem to roll quite poorly.
Yeah. Don't worry. RNGesus will take care of me one day. I just have to be a little bit more accepting.
I think at Deadlands it's more fun that you roll badly.
It can be, especially if you're a mad scientist. Especially if you're a mad scientist.
I forgot about that lovely mechanic.
Yeah. I want that to happen so bad.
You're going to kill us all.
I'm not going to kill us all. I'm just going to kill people close to me. Don't be close to me.
All right, I'm back.
And okay, since you're saying don't be close to you, I'll just let you guys know something else. I don't know how they're handling it in Suede. I haven't really checked it. But for this, since we are playing Deadlands and you guys do have weapons and all that good stuff, we are going to play gritty damage.
That's where when you can throw in fate chips to reroll on your damage. Or is that where you get a wound and like every time you take a wound in the game, it reflects as a wound on your character, right? So if you end up taking a wound, you roll on a table, and then whatever it lands on, that's it. So you take a wound, and then all of a sudden your function properly for the rest of the combat action or round.
That, and also in certain versions of gritty damage, you can die quicker. And the other thing is, I also do kind of adhere towards the golden hour. That if you don't get some healing either from a shaman or a doctor or somebody within the hour, it's harder to get back. It's hard to take wounds away, which I like that, especially if you're playing like a sci-fi game or whatever. I tend to use that a lot. All right, is everybody back? Can you hear us, Noah?
Yeah, I can hear y'all.
Okay, all right. So for this last little bit, so he's come back in from outside. You can tell he's not really saying much, but everything's still going on. People are playing poker every so often. Like every couple of minutes or so, you'll see somebody go upstairs to one of the rooms. There's activity behind the bar. Benny, the helper, is bringing stuff in and out of the kitchen. And as the evening goes on, you notice that over the double doors that you swing open to come in, that you don't hear as much activity outside on the streets. Like you don't really hear horses, you don't hear carts, you don't hear any kind of movement from people other than what's inside. And you notice that as you're talking and eating and doing whatever, that as you look out past those doors to the street, that mist that I was telling you about is like through town, and basically it's kind of starting to little tufts of it are starting to kind of float inwards past the doors a little bit into the Bell Union proper, the area that you guys are sitting in. And it's like now that smell that I was telling you of old decay is very, very strong now. And other people, not just you, you guys aren't the only one. The bartender's going, oh shit.
Alex is kind of used to it, honestly, in his line of work and what he's experienced. He's kind of used to it. But he is a little bit surprised. He's like, man, haven't smelled something like this since the back when I was in Louisville, back in the what was it? When Louisville, it was Chattanooga, right? Third Battle of Chattanooga. Had a lot of boys and a lot of gangrene, a lot of rotten flesh, my friend.
And as you're telling this, as you guys are looking at this stuff, and you're telling about the seeing the rotting flesh and a lot of gangrene, from outside, you start to hear these loud, like off in the distance, you hear what kind of sounds like a stampede of horse hoofs. Distance, you can figure it's probably just from you're hearing it. It's probably at least a mile or more outside of town, but there's enough canyons and rock areas that sound just bounces all over the place out where you guys are at, where Deadwood is located. And hearing that off in the distance, but more closely, like in town, outside those double doors, you hear this loud.
Alex kind of instantly he goes, "Nah, yeah, that ain't a sound that you really don't want. That's a sound you." And kind of grabs his rifle out and just like because he hasn't racked another, he kind of like racks another shot into the chamber, and he goes, "Be on your guard. The dead are walking again."
Sounds like it.
Are you?
I load up my pistols, and I have both my pistols drawn, by the way, by this point. Lead the way.
You're all touched in the head. The dead do not walk. They are dead.
So, from where you guys are sitting, and you can see that
The only one here.
I checked it.
where the mist is at, and coming in, and what you hear outside, and as far as distance outside, you figure it's probably at least 50 or 60 feet off of the main front doors areas of where the Bella Union is. Are you guys going to go, who's going to go, you're going to go up to the doors, you're going to go out on the porch? What are you wanting to do?
Alex is going to go out on the porch with his rifle in hand.
Okay. I'm assuming the others are staying at the table or at least standing up and just checking out what he's doing. But whenever you step outside and the doors kind of sling shut behind you, what you can see is the mist has engulfed the entire town from one end of the main street to the other. Like everywhere, the entire town is engulfed. And what you see looking off to your left, back towards where you saw the mist in the first place, interspersed at different intervals all the way down the end of Main Street, you see what looks to be man-sized figures, looks like outlaws, cowboys, whatever, in various parts, but they are all skeletal-faced, and they all have sidearms and everything. But you notice that they're on one side of the street and then they're on the other, so that they leave a lane all the way up the middle. And from what you can see, there's a point up towards where the road comes into town, and the first beginnings of the first buildings, not too far away from Katie Carl's office, is this point in the mist that it kind of disperses and just leaves a little bit of a ringed area of blackness. And standing in the middle of this blackness is a man about 6.5 feet tall. He has a glowing purplish black hat on, a duster, from what you can tell, this bandolero with bullets and stuff on it, two very shiny black weapons, boots. His face is very just sunken in, hollow. Bits of it are falling off. And as you're looking at him, you're noticing that the hombres that are with him are kind of like phasing in and out. 1 minute they'll be in one spot, and then they'll disappear. Then they'll be in a different spot. Like they're not corporal. Like they're not. It's like watching a TV and seeing an image flicker on and off. But him, you can see he looks 100% corporal, and he's down at the end, and then he goes, and when he sees you looking over at him, his eyes kind of, they're not green. They go to this hellish, flamey red that just glows out so much that you can see it. And he knows that you're standing out there but he don't give a rat's, and he stands there and he yells at the top of his unearthly lungs, and he goes, Deadwood, you remember me? All those years ago? And when he says that, Katie Carl comes to the door and opens it and starts to come out. And he looks over and he goes, Katie Carl, I told you that there was going to be hell to pay for what you done to me. You did the ultimate wrong thing. I told you I wanted to take over this town and make it something where I would be rich beyond my wildest dreams. But you had to be too much of a goody-goody. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't know how good of a shot you were. And he goes, well, for these last years that I've been in torment, I've been able to practice. And I'm going to tell you, little missy, I've gotten good. And when he says that, he laughs. And it sounds like this booming thunder that just goes across the entirety of all of Deadwood. And it sounds just like it's amplified inside of a tin can, inside of a large drum. It's just larger and louder, and it hurts your ears. Every person in this town can hear what he's saying. Man, child, old person, it doesn't matter. If you're in the vicinity of this, you can hear it. And various people are shitting their pants in various situations. But he goes, Katie, it may not be today, but here soon, I'm going to have all the power I need. And when I have it, I'm going to come and I'm going to destroy you and this town, and then go from there, and I might take down the entire territory. And he just starts to laugh, and he's walking through town, and as he walks through town, that green mist kind of parts away from him, and you can still see those hombres that are with him going in and out of, the vision and stuff like that. It's like they're flickering, and he just keeps on going, and he walks by the Bella Union, not even looking at anybody, but as you see him as he's going on, behind him, the boots that he's walking in are leaving a black flame imprint in the mud and little bits of dry ground that are still there that didn't get, torn up or messed up by the earlier rain. And he just goes to a certain point and gets down to almost to the end of this street. And as he does so, he disappears, just like a poof. And kind of like this black, oily thing that just kind of dissipates. And with that, also, those hombres disappear.
Right.
They kind of like they're not in view anymore. And when that happens, the mist is still there. It's not as thick as it was because I think they were the ones that kind of just made it as strong as it was. But it is still there, and it is very. It's just like everything that you heard and you saw and you felt during this whole situation. It's like you can feel every muscle of your body quivering, even though other people might not see it, but you can feel it. And that sound of him speaking is still in everybody's head. You guys are not going to be able to get rid of it until morning.
I've seen the dead walk, but I haven't seen something like that since. Well, I ain't never seen something like that, I guess.
And you notice to everybody that's in the Bella Union around you, the ladies of the night and everything, they're just like huddled up against each other. They're whispering kind of slightly. There's one that's kind of crying the bartender's going, Benny, go upstairs and bring me some drawers. He basically peed his pants, but you can't see it because he's standing up close against the bar so nobody sees him. But yeah,
Is the sheriff still out? Is the sheriff still down the way?
she is with him gone. She shuts the door and goes in, and she's kind of in a flurry of activity in there right now. You can hear doors and cabinets and things opening and closing because it's sound carries enough down this part of the main street. But she's in a flurry of activity down there at her office. So you guys gonna go down there and check on her?
No, Alex is.
Anybody else gonna go with him?
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Sure.
I think we may have lost our mad scientist. Power surge, apparently.
Okay, that's cool. We'll catch him up.
That's pain.
So as you guys go, and while this is going on for Christoph, you hear this going on too, and it definitely puts a little bit of a scare into you. And you hear everything what he said about Katie Carl and all that stuff too. So it's like even you being upstairs in your room, you were able to hear what was going on. So you guys go down there, except for Christoph. He's still in his room. He doesn't know that you guys are going over there. And she's doing her thing, and you guys just walk on in there. And she's grabbing out boxes of shells. She's just doing different stuff, and she goes, "Now what do you think about what I told you?"
Well, miss, I already knew. I already knew about the dead rising up from the war, but I ain't seen nothing like that in the war. So you can only bet my guns with you.
And she goes, "Now I don't know what you guys, if your fellows are praying men, or if you." And she looks over at Xiao Yu, and she kind of defers, and she goes, "Or what you pray to," but after making that kind of a entrance into my town, it's good to have somebody on your side. So when you go to bed tonight, you pray the way you pray, because I think from here on out we're gonna need it. And she goes, "You guys are all," she goes, "pretty much always keep your weapons with you, even if you go to the shitter. Like they tell you in the army, always keep your weapon with you everywhere you go." It's basically that whole thing. And she goes, "I just didn't think that he would come back in this way." And she goes, what were those things that were with him?" She was freaking out on that too. And she's going, "I just got to figure out what's going on." Because she just,
Would I know what those things are? Like the incorporeal things that were going with them? Or had I never even seen them before?
Do you have any kind of skill that might shed some light on that? What are your skills?
Would a cult count for that?
Actually, go ahead and give me a roll on that.
For a cult?
Yeah.
Sure. Ooh.
Okay.
16. Damn.
Yeah, that is pretty good. You have heard of people that have died and that have come back through the power of not necessarily of things that are good, but that comes from hell, and that there are those that are greater beings and those that are lesser beings that are kind of like minions and lackeys and things like that. But the one that was the main one, you figure out that by itself that was Blackstar for sure. And you can tell that there's definitely some evil to it. So this is not something that you necessarily encountered personally face to face, but because of your occult knowledge, you have an inkling of what some of this stuff might be, but you're not 100% sure. But you've got that notion of that you've heard of this, that you know that there are certain things that are greater in their power, there are lesser, and that they probably have been found in other places in the West. Maybe not so much in the rest of the country, but in this area of the country because of the way it is after the reckoning and things like that. Yeah, this is something that you think you might know a little bit about. Not maybe a whole lot now, but you figure you can jog your mind somehow or another in the future and maybe get a little bit more. But yeah,
Alex goes, I've heard of these things before. Now I'm thinking about it, though. I wouldn't any specific information. I don't know, but this is a grapevine. You managed to hear about these things.
and through various parts of town, it's like you've got mothers. You can hear mothers that are trying to comfort their kids because it's like that. They're peeing their pants in their beds, and there's various things, little bits of commotion starting to come around now because it's pretty much over with, and Katie's doing her things, getting stuff together that she can kind of bulwark herself through the night and stuff. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop for the evening because we got about 15 minutes left. And what I'm going to do is the way I do experience is I usually give 2 to 3. You guys were good, so everybody's going to get 3 tonight. Like I said, when we come back after the holidays, everybody that's Christoph, do you think that you would probably end up wanting to help her? Are you going to go in the morning and
Yes,
tell
for
her
sure.
that you will help her?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it takes 5 for us to advance, right?
Yeah, 5 to advance, and whenever you get an advancement, if you have powers you can or spells that you work with, you can add a new one to the new power edge, and then of course getting 20 to get your next rank. And I'll post in here. I will post a little snippet that'll be viewable to all you guys, showing what all of your current XP is. And like I said, when we come back the next time, everybody's going to start with 1 extra Benny. And I think we did pretty good, except for a couple glitches with Discord. And what I'm going to do as far as putting this onto YouTube, because I'm still recording, is I'm going to go ahead and do some cutting and chopping in here and there. And when I get it put up on my YouTube, I'll put a link in our little group thing there, and that way you guys can watch it and stuff if you want to.
Yeah, put a link in the Roll20 and the Discord that way.
Yeah, I'll do it in both. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. And for anybody that's out there that's watching it, I hope you have liked the first night. So we're going to find out here after the holidays what's going to happen with these guys as they go to help Sheriff Katie Carl take on what Blackstar has in mind for Deadwood and possibly this whole territory. You never know what kind of effect he's going to have. So with that, in 3, 2, 1.
All right, I'll see y'all.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Mm-hmm.